Good evening, I'm Mark Heffernan.
And I'm Bobby Sharp.
We're here tonight at West High School where the Vikings will entertain the Foothill High Trojans.
It's going to be a great game. This is a game that I think both teams need to win. It's obviously a bigger game for West. They're 0-1. Foothill comes in 1-0. It's our first look at Mr. Irvin on the ground, and I think he could be the best running back in the county. Some say he is, so we're going to get a chance to look at him tonight.
Foothill did all their work on the ground last week in their victory. West High was down 24-0, came back to make it close against Hanford. West trying to show more balance. New first-year head coach Stan Green.
Doing a wonderful job, and they're going to go with sophomore Lee Brown tonight at the quarterback position. He came in, I believe, in the second half and brought them back from 24-0 against a good Hanford team. So Coach Green really pleased with his progress, and I think West High is looking for a really good performance tonight. They feel like they're playing extremely well.
The West High Vikings and the Foothill High Trojans tonight exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
G-E-D. The Get Bus is the ride for me.
From there to here and here to there.
G-E-T goes everywhere.
What can you do for cleaner air?
Ride to work with time to spare.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the Get Bus. Get Bus. Get on. Get on the Get Bus. Get Bus. Get on. Get on the Get Bus. Get Bus. Get on. Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. For something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, well, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast strip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast strip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at Arc Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special.
I'm Alex Rogers, owner of Arc Technology. Come and see for yourself why we have the warehouse stores beat, hands down, on price and service.
Don't you buy a computer until you check with Arc Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
Good evening and welcome to the high school prep football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable Channel 16. I'm Mark Heffernan, and with me tonight is Bobby Sharp. It's our second game together.
Yes, it is.
On TV.
Yes, it is. And we're very excited to be here at West High School. Should be a really, really good game tonight. Interesting game.
Well, as you know, last week Foothill won their debut game of the season. West Wasp had a great comeback against Hanford, losing eventually by 5 points, even though they were down by 5. Actually 24 at one time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is a Foothill team that returns some key players in skill positions on offense. Of course, we're looking for Gerald Irvin, the man, considered by some to be the best halfback in the Valley. And he isn't disappointing anybody with what he did in the first game, rushing for over 100 yards against North High School. This West High team is a team that's in transition with a first-year head coach, Stan Green, and they feel really good about their play against Hanford, who's a perennial power in the Valley.
Well, as you know, Bobby, Hanford lost to Buchanan Clovis by only 14 points the other night, so that shows that West, their team at least has a lot of character this year. They had their most disappointing season in their history last year. They have a new coach coming in, a guy who was a great quarterback at Redwood High Visalia, Bakersfield College, and Boston U. Assisted at BEC for 1 year, was at South High last year, helped lead them to a fantastic season. Now he comes and he's the main guy. He's doing the administrative work, he's doing the coaching, he's in control of the whole thing. He said it's quite a job, actually.
Well, I think he's doing a wonderful job so far. The idea is to rebuild the program and to develop a positive attitude and think about the future. We want to build to the future, and the future is Lee Brown. Lee Brown came off the bench last week against Hanford, led his team back from a 24-0 deficit, and they nearly won that football game. And I know you spoke with Stan this week, and he just felt really good about what the young man did leadership-wise. Yeah. And as a quarterback, that's the most important thing.
But as you know about Foothill last year, they get all their yards on the ground. Irvin's had over 120, Puente had 106. They attempted 2 passes, did not complete any, so it was virtually an entire ground story for Foothill. West tried to utilize more balance, but hopefully with Brown getting another game under his belt, he'll be better than 4 for 16 tonight.
Well, I definitely think so. I think Foothill is a team that runs the wing T, like we saw last week with Garces. Very deceptive. Puente running for over 100 yards. Maybe not a surprise to the Foothill coaches, but maybe to some other people because Irvins is the man, and he's going to get the bulk of the carries. He's awfully good. And folks, he's only a junior. He's going to be back for 1 more season. But make no mistake about it, Stephen Baker is a very, very good player. He's a tremendous athlete. He can do a lot of things. His opening game is not indicative of how good he really is. And tonight they're going to have to throw the ball to mix the run-up, to have the balance, I think, to beat West High at home.
As you said, Steve Baker is a quarterback for Foothill. He's also an outstanding place kicker and punter and kicker, and that's where he was all area last year. His brother John, the outstanding kicker in high school and also in college. Also, there are some big offensive linemen to look at for both teams, which we will see tonight. So it's an interesting matchup. West trying to regain some of that tradition they've had in the past with Dallas Strider and also with Kevin Sneed, who's now AD at Centennial. Foothill with Ned Permenter, 32nd year, began the program. He's been here all this time. Bobby Zell has been at his side all these years, and the beat just keeps on going on and on.
Yeah, they just do a great job every year. It just seems like they reload again. Just when you thought Irvins was going away, that was his older brother. Yeah. Gerald's only a junior. And I think that the key thing with them is they're going to score points. I mean, they're explosive offensively. They were last year. I think key injuries last year, a few disciplinary problems hurt them last year. I think they felt like they were a really good team last year. I think with Josh Ratliff, with Irvins running behind him at 6'2", 280, and him playing on both sides of the ball, he is definitely one of the top linemen in the Valley. We're going to see him tonight. And so Foothill feels very good about their offense. I think defensively, though, they're going to have to do some things against the better teams in order to win the conference and then do well in the playoffs.
Bobby Irvins is about 5'9", 205, and he bench presses almost as much as you, about 360 pounds. So.
Well, I think he's got me going out the door. He's a tremendous athlete. Not only does he run with speed, but he runs with power. So you got to wrap up when you tackle Mr. Irvin.
Coach Permenter made an interesting observation about Irvin. He said he needs to learn how to run more elusively. He said last year he just tried to run over everybody, 800 yards in 4.5 games.
Not a bad job.
No, not bad at all. As we get ready for the kickoff, West moving from right to left. Of course, in green and gold, Foothill, black pants, white jerseys. Ball coming to the left side for the Trojans. The 10, 15, good stick, bounces off it to about the 17-yard line. Great hit by West High School. Ed Hurd, the returner for the Foothill High Trojans.
And what do you want to do right away if you're West High is continue the emotion. As you can hear, we are on the West High side. It's going to be loud tonight, so stay with us. It's a great environment. West High's charged up. This is a game they feel like they can win. Foothill, in the past, running the wing T, has had some problems early in the season with turnovers. And last week against North, they hurt themselves. And I know Ned feels like we have got to be a little bit better in our execution in the wing T. And tonight, hopefully they're going to be able to do that against West High.
When I talked to Stan Brigg during the week, I said, you're going to have 8 people up on the line for the West High defense. I said, I will try a few things here and there. We'll see how it goes, because Foothill, as we mentioned, did it entirely on the ground last week in the victory.
And again, we just saw Fuente carry the ball. He rushed for over 100 yards last week. That's something that now the rest of the league is going to have to say, hey, this is just not Urban. Now it's Fuente running for over 100 yards a game. And in his first game, it's an impressive debut for them. Foothill's going to get it done on the ground. That's their bread and butter, but they must mix the pass in.
Baker, quarterback for the Trojans. Urban's the ball carrier, first down, breaks the tackle, across the 30 to about the 34-yard line.
And right away we see Foothill going right, then coming back left for that little counter. If you watched this last week, you know that Garces likes to run that same wing T counter. They ran off the right side, came back with a counter with Urban. And, you know, we talked about it a little bit before. You mentioned that Coach Fermento would like to see Urban do a little bit more sidestepping and use his speed. And that was maybe one of the areas right there where he might have juked inside and went outside. He's so physical, though, that he likes to put his head down.
I make a difference between a 10-yard run and a 50-yard stamper. We come the other way. The game was only about 1 yard by Hurd. A nice tackle by the West High Vikings. In on the play was Mike Gabaldon. In fact, Gabaldon is the top rusher for West High for the first game. He's about 5'8", 180, an outstanding baseball player for West High School.
Very tough kid. Going to play both ways for West High. And he's their emotional leader. He's the guy that's got to, again, he's like Tobias at Garces. He's got to fly around and make a lot of plays.
2nd and 9 for Foothill. Inside handoff. Fuente across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd and maybe 7 for the Foothill High Trojans in their own territory.
And I got to think Foothill feels very comfortable about running the football. I think if they looked at the tapes, and I know they did at West High against Hanford, I mean, I'm sure they saw some things and feel like that, hey, if Hanford's going to run that many points up on West High or score that many, they got to feel like they can do the same types of things. But Foothill is going to attack them on the ground, and and West High early in this game cannot allow for the big play, because Urban at any time can pop it.
Lopez made the tackle for West High. 3rd and a long 6 for Foothill. 10:07 to play in the first quarter. Trojans, black and white. Baker, the inside hand to Irvins. Breaks a couple of tackles, has the first down, and more across midfield to the 47-yard line in West High territory. Broke about 4 tackles on that run. Wow.
You know, I don't want to make comparisons because it's impossible, but didn't he give me a little bit of hint of Emmett Smith on that play? Kind of hit the whole row, exploded, dropped his shoulder on one guy, sidestep, straight arm. I'm not done yet. I'm going to get 5 more. Boom, and he almost broke that play.
Just like Emmett, built low to the ground, excellent balance, excellent strength, and great speed.
And a tough guy to tackle.
Hard to tackle one-on-one, especially if you're a 160-pound defensive back. Might be a motion penalty against Foothill, as I think 2 guys were motioned at the same time for the Trojans, as they're in West High territory. 9:36 to play in the first quarter. A high school football game of the week on Time Warner Cable. And a penalty is against the Trojans, a 5-yard walk-off.
Hope you enjoyed the game last week. You know that Bakersfield High beat Garces in our first game ever on television in that great matchup. And now we're here at West High School, and we're hoping for just a tremendous night of football here. As you can hear the cheerleaders down there, they're getting after it.
They're into it. Around the right side, Irvins breaks a couple of tackles, will lose ground as he gets to about the 48-yard line, West High territory. It'll be 2nd and long, pick up of maybe 4 for Irvins. Trapped in the backfield, actually did a great job to get that far.
Yeah, West High did a good job that time of stringing the play out, not letting him turn the corner, made him come back inside where the linebackers could fill. And again, that's what they've got. They got to wrap up. If they wrap up tonight, I think they're going to be okay. If they don't wrap up, look out.
Something Garces didn't do last week against VHS.
But they
especially
corrected
in the second half. They corrected it.
Yep.
That blowout victory over San Joaquin Memorial. 2nd and 11. Run around the right side. It will be a first down for Foothill. Inside the 42, about the 37. Looked like a mix-up in the back, but Puente is the ball carrier. Nice piece of running.
And it's really tough when you have a high-profile back like Irvin because you're so keen on him. You're so aware where he's at. And Fuente gets all the kind of the scraps. He gets the table scraps, and he's good at it. He likes it. He's going to take whatever he can get, and they ran a little misdirection that time. And it's so difficult defensively because you have to be aware of Irvin on every possession. And Fuente has been running the ball effectively, and he's just picking up where he left off last week so far.
He's 5'8", 175. Had about a 15-yard gain, 1st and 10 for the Trojans. 8:32 to play in the first quarter. Wing T remains for Foothill. Heard the ball carrier around the left side, breaks one tackle. Another one, stays on his feet, and he's in deep in the West High territory, inside the 30. Beside the first down.
Foothill, left side of that Foothill line, doing a nice job. Bird did a good job of shaking off that tackle and getting the extra yardage. And again, West High, you know, defensively, they don't want to have Foothill on the field all night because Foothill will just methodically take them apart. And they'll work the ball down the field, and they'll run their wing T, and they'll eat that clock up, and they'll wear West High down. That's not something they want to have happen.
He's 6 feet 186. Hurd took that opening kickoff. Inside handoff to Puente. He is hit very hard at the line of scrimmage. Goes forward about a yard. It'll be 3rd and short for Foothill. Nice stick by the West High defense. 7:35 to play in the first quarter.
It is a beautiful night, isn't it?
Great
Gorgeous night for football. Gotta love it. Got a great crowd. We got the West High band sitting down to the left of us down here in their white uniforms. They marched out. It gets you excited, doesn't it?
They're ready to go again.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I remember the dominant days of West High football. They're trying to get it back there at the Viking Field. 3rd and 3 for Foothill. Probably flags are down. Maybe too much time. We'll see what it is. Legal procedure. Probably 2 down territory for the Trojans. You know, they do have a great kicker.
Well,
as you said, they like to keep the ball and run the clock as much as they can.
Well, that's Mr. Baker. He's their do-it-all guy. You know, I think people really need to, if you get a chance, get out to see him play because he really is a lot of fun. He does so many things for this team. He's such a gifted athlete. And there are a lot of guys like that in this league this year in Bakersfield.
Ethan Beck, you talk about a gifted athlete.
Well, Ethan Beck is the same type of player as Baker, except he just doesn't play quarterback. He's a wide receiver. But he's a punter, he's a kicker, he does it all for Highland.
Had a 54-yard field goal last week. He said he kicked him 60 yards in practice. 3rd and 8 for the Trojans. 7:11 to play in the first quarter. Wing T remains for Foothill. Hurd, nice hole. To the 30, breaks the tackle, 25, 20, down the sidelines, to the 10, 5, touchdown, Foothill!
And I'll tell you what, Irvin just got busy on that play. Ned wanted him to do a little bit more shaking and dancing. Well, he shook and danced on that play. He left 2 West High guys standing right where they were, made a step to the inside, straight arm, which he is brilliant. He is really strong. Straight arm, turn the corner, forget it, touchdown.
Give credit to the start of that play. Big hole on the left side. He got through the hole. Then he juked inside, went outside. The thing about him, he's so great, he can hesitate. He's full speed within a couple of steps.
Well, when you get into the hole, great backs are able to run with power and then have enough explosiveness to get to the outside. He possesses all of that.
And Baker explodes with a P18 at 7-0. Foothill with 6:56 to play in the first quarter. Wow.
And again, right away, Foothill comes right down the field on their first possession, does exactly what they want to do. And more importantly, when you set up these possessions for later in the game, it makes it a little bit easier for you when you're scripting plays or you're looking at your playbook. You say, okay, these things work for us. Now a lot more things are going to work for us later in the game. And I know Foothill's looking at that because the wing T is predicated on what you don't give them and what you do give them. And Foothill does a great job of making sure that they take advantage of your weaknesses. West High is going to have to be a lot more aggressive defensively, and they're going to have to wrap up. Again, you know, last week we made a lot of comments about that, about tackling. You can make great contact, but you've got to wrap up.
That's true. And running back with the talent that Irvin's has, it's very difficult for one player to knock him down one-on-one, especially a defensive back. Like I say, they have to wrap him up, hopefully get help from somebody else, or hit him before he gets going.
Most definitely. You've got to get penetration on Foothill. You have got to get people in their backfield. You've got to confuse them. You've got to kind of get them off balance and then make them try to play from there. You don't want to have them playing in their comfort zone with a lot of confidence, which they are right now.
Baker, left-footed kicker, to do his honors line drive well into the end zone and through.
And there's
no run back there.
There's the extra weapon right there. when you have a kid like that who can kick the ball with no run back at all, it takes away another weapon for West High. That's just a tremendous weapon for Foothill.
I wonder what colleges are interested in him.
Well, what I'm hearing, there's quite a few. Anybody that has a leg like that, and he definitely has the grades, so he's definitely going to be somebody that they're going to be looking at. Of course, we haven't had a chance. I didn't have a chance, and I know you didn't this week to have a chance to talk to Coach Permitter. But with his brother being as successful as he was,
right,
and definitely he has the leg.
Well, there have been some great kickers here in Bakersfield recently over the last 10 to 15 years. West High with the first possession tonight, 6:56 to play in the first quarter. Brown to throw, pass complete on the far side, a short gain. Onita, the receiver for West, also plays middle linebacker. You know, this guy performed in roller hockey last year. He's a senior, yes. So he decided to go out for football this year, and he's one of the captains, one of the leaders of the team.
Well, I guess if you're going to check against the boards, you can check out on the football field.
Roller hockey or inline hockey, something like that. But that's what he played last year.
And West High comes right out throwing.
That's right.
I like it.
2nd and 7 for the Vikings. The ball's in the ball care, I believe. Powers his way, refuses to go down. Took out the 30, fumble, I think, after the play, I believe.
And he was
down. Just shy of the first down.
And he was down. That's a heck of a run right there. Coming out of the hole with a guy hanging on him, he just runs right over him.
5'8", 180, Mike Gavalden. So he runs with a lot of power, like Irvin's. He'll low to the ground, didn't have the speed of Irvin's, but a lot of stockiness.
Well, let's look at the two different styles that we have going tonight. Foothill sets up their pass with their run. Vice versa for Coach Green and West High. They're going to set up the run with the pass. They're going to think pass
first. Once you figure that with Stan Green.
Exactly. They're going to think pass first, and they're going to come back with a run. But I'll tell you what, I think this is a perfect system for them as he gets started in his first season as a coach. I mean, the thing that they want to do is, obviously, if you can run the football, you know, everybody knows you got to run the football to be successful. That's a given in football. But the pass, and we talked about this before, the pass can be used as a run. So really the West Coast style of offense makes the pass a run. And so that's where West High is trying to incorporate that into their offense tonight.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at Arc Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special. The hot new 6-speed CD-ROM drive, just $98. Call Arc for low prices on all RAM upgrades, including laptops and notebooks. And Arc will upgrade all Packard Bells. Don't you buy a computer until you check with Arc Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
Micah Baldwin was the injured Viking taken off the field. He only ran the ball once. Of course, he played defense. Looks like it could be a problem with his ankle. We're not sure. West High continues with the option. Excellent defense by the Foothill Trojans as they swarm and have lose about 2 yards at a 5:55 mark of the first quarter.
And it looks like we got a flag on the play, but a great job by the corner to come up and really put a hit on the West High halfback. I mean, tell you what, he's kind of speared him at the ankles, and that's a way to come up and fill, and I think we got a hold against West.
Juanita, the ball carrier for West, plays some tight end, some running back, number 45. And as we talked about, he's the guy that played hockey last year, one of the leaders of the West High team. Middle linebacker. So Baldwin, after that one carry, is sitting down. We're not sure. Hopefully it's not a serious injury.
Hopefully it's just an ankle mark, and hopefully they can get that taped up, or possibly he's just cramped a little bit maybe. Hopefully it's not too serious, because without him, West High is going to be in a struggle.
Yeah, he had a big game last week for West, and one of their top players. 1st and 20 for the Vikings, something they don't like to see, down 7-0, but they're at home, 5:50 to play in the first quarter. Brown QB, the single running back behind him, rolls to his left, looking downfield, throws on the run, man wide open, incomplete. It was close. Edgar Rivera, the intended receiver.
And if he would have just released that a little bit sooner, he had Rivera wide open. He just let him a little bit too much, and he ran out of real estate on the sidelines. But hey, that's a tough throw. Rolling to his left, throwing off his back foot. I like this kid.
35 to 40 yards in the air. Yes, right, throwing across your body.
Yeah, he's showing us some stuff early in the game. Not afraid to. And hey, how about Coach Green making that call? That's a gutsy call.
I can believe it from Coach Green. Remember Fullerton in the national championship game of the Potato Bowl, 4th down situation, BC threw it to the tight end, who scored a touchdown. 2nd and 20 for West High. Mix up in the backfield. Brown throws complete to the far side. And a gain of about 5 or 6 yards for the Vikings.
And that's that quick hitter, that West Coast style of thing. And Brown looks comfortable doing that. And he looks like that he's very comfortable throwing that quick hitch. And again, we're going to see that a lot. I think, again, they use that as the run. And then, they come back with Gavaldi up the middle. But hopefully, we're going to see him some more because right now he's still on the sidelines.
Graham Gare for the reception for the Vikings with 5:05 to play in the first quarter. Foothill 7, West High nothing. 2 receivers to each side. Brown rolling to his left. A heavy rush. Will he throw it? He takes it out of bounds, and they make him pay for it. The Trojans stringing that play out very well. Puente and company for the Trojans.
Yeah, very nice job by Fuente. He never was fooled on the play. Knew it was a rollout basically all the way. And really even a better job by the Foothill secondary. Great coverage downfield. And Brown did a smart thing for a young player. Didn't force the play, just took the loss. They don't have the field position. Let's punt the ball.
7-0 in favor of Foothill. 4:50 to play in the first quarter. Hurd deep for the Trojans, standing at his own 37-yard line. Ed Hurd, eye snap. Rusty Dahl, the punter. Hurd on the run, across midfield to about the 45-yard line of West High territory. So excellent field position for Foothill as they made it 7-0 here in the first quarter.
And that's not good news for West. Hopefully you'd like to sustain something on the ground or in the air, whichever you're trying to get going. Try to get something going to where they're, one of the things, I know good coaches like to do with their teams, they talk about field position, where we want the other team to play. You don't want Foothill playing on half the field. It's just like all good teams. You get them in that area and they get down in the red zone. If it only takes a team 2 or 3 plays to get to the red zone, most of the time they're going to score. Because they're good, they're going to be even better inside the red zone. West High, even if they don't score on the majority of their possessions tonight, have got to keep Foothill very deep in their own territory.
That's right. Well, last week West was in their own territory quite a bit and early going against Hanford. Hurd, the ball carrier, breaks a couple of tackles across the 35 to about the 32. Now, I'll tell you what, we're seeing a good athlete in Ed Hurd. Returns punts to run out of his wingback position. Quite a find for Foothill. Of course, his brother also plays in a team, but here's a guy who looks like he can do quite a few things for Commander.
One of the things that all the Foothill backs do because of their wing T styles, they all run well inside.
Yeah.
One of the things we're noticing right away is that most of the Foothill backs are getting 2 hands on the ball inside. They're only concerned about the first 5 yards, and then if they can get outside, we don't want to fumble in the hole. Don't fumble in the hole, and if you can break it outside, break it outside.
Hurd is the ball carrier, splits the defense, 30, 25, 20 down the sidelines.
He's gone!
And 5, touchdown, Trojans!
I don't know if he was running at full speed. Looked like he was kind of galloping around that corner. I think he ran behind Radliff on that other side, blowing people away. And again, Urban's just kind of strolled through the corner. Another touchdown. A great job by that Foothill offensive line.
Yes, once again, they started with a nice hole on the left side. They love to run left, of course. The run right to kind of set it up. Hits the opening. He looks like he's running easily, but great athletes appear that way.
Right, and
once he sees the opening, he just busts.
And the thing that he didn't have to do was really do anything in the hole. It was so huge. Once he saw the corner, boom, he was in the end zone. Right.
He goes to the outside. Looks like there's so many guys there to catch him, and he just strolls to the end zone. Second touchdown of the game for Irvin. PAT successful by Baker. 14-0 Trojans, 4:14 to play in the first quarter.
And we alluded to in the pregame, Mr. Irvin is considered, as a junior already, one of the best backs in the Valley. And he's showing you why tonight, folks. He can do a lot of different things. And again, Foothill looks awfully good on their interior. Their offensive line is doing a wonderful job of opening holes for Hurd, for all of them. And they've got weapons. Again, when you have to concentrate on one back so much and do your reads and concentrate reads on Irvin, then the other two guys hurt you. And Hurd's had a good game so far. And it's just very difficult for West High.
That's right. You talk about Irvin, Puente, and Hurd, who's a very talented back. 3 outstanding people around him.
Well,
and then you have Baker.
Really the key, not that you don't have to have a great wing back or eye back, or I really don't know how sometimes they label their system, but in the wing T, your fullback is almost as important as the other 2 wing backs.
That's right.
Your fullback has to be the guy that can pick up those kinds of yardage.
They label it so Irvin the tailback, Puente the fullback, and Hurd the wingback who splits time with somebody else. That's kind of how they like to market their running backs. It's worked off very good. 4:14 to play. A 2-touchdown advantage for Foothill as Baker's kick once again goes through the end zone. No run back.
Folks, he's booming him. That thing, he's kicking, he might kick that thing out of the stadium.
And there's no wind behind him either.
No, it's a dead night. I mean, it's just a great night for football. A little humidity in the air. It's a little hot up here where we are. We're loving it.
Well, as you said, one of the problems for West last possession, they had a penalty. They had 2nd and 20, 3rd and 20. And then they had a short punt. Good return by Hurd in West High territory. Short part of the field.
Right.
Didn't have to run too far. Brown at quarterback for the Vikings. Single running back behind him. Receiver split to each side. The Vikings' second possession. Inside handoff. And they gained it about 3 yards for the Vikings across the 20 to about the 23. It'll be 2nd and 7 for West. Foothill doing a great job defensively tonight.
And one of the things Foothill must do is swarm to the ball. And I think last year that was one of the areas where they had concerns. We spoke about this in the pregame. They've got to be better defensively. They feel comfortable that they can score points, but they've got to stop people.
Well, you have to play defense to win games, if not championships. 2nd and 7 for the Vikings. Brown's a long count. It's a man in motion. Pitch back. Little waiting for the ball. They're out of bounds. Rivera is across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Edgar Rivera.
Trying a little misdirection there. Kind of like a little wingback reverse, and Foothill wasn't fooled. And so far tonight, Foothill looks like they're staying home. They're swarming to the ball, and they've really done a nice job of not getting one tackler to the ball, but 2 or 3 guys, which is very important.
Edgar Rivera, Graham Gayer for West High. The quarterback is Lee Brown for the Vikings. 3rd and 4. Fumble on the far side. Here the Trojans have it picked up by Foothill. 10-5. Is it a touchdown for the Trojans? Yes.
Oh my. That hurt. That really hurt.
Steve Pineda.
Pineda picks up the fumble on the same play that we just saw. They ran that slot in reverse. Rivera coughs it up in their own territory. And a young West High team hurting themselves early in this game, something they can't afford to do.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
And Baker comes in to try to PAT for the Trojans. This will be his 3rd attempt tonight.
We got a net out in the parking lot.
He's getting a lot of work this evening. And I'm sure there are some scouts drooling over his leg as he blasted through the upright, almost out of the stadium. Wow.
I'll tell you, he's got a leg. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Well, Bobby, we're still in the first quarter, and it's 21-0 Foothill on the road. What does West High have to do to get back to this game? Now they're emotionally down still.
The most important thing is they can't beat themselves. I mean, they've got to do something offensively, whether it's start to get their short passing game going, at least have a possession where they're not 3 and out. They've got to get something going early because right now they're down 21-0, and it's not good. But if they go through the rest of this first quarter into the second quarter and don't do anything offensively, it's going to get a lot worse.
Well, the Trojans will be kicking off once again here in the latter stage of the first quarter. West High down 21-0. Of course, West would like to have a long run back, but Baker does not give him a chance to do that. Kicks everything through the end zone.
Yeah, he doesn't do that very often.
So they have to start from their own 20-yard line. They can't start from their own 40 or 45. So and he makes it tough on them. They're playing Jimi Hendrix in 1996.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Okay. The Trojans and the Vikings tonight from West High Stadium. Kicks it away from the Vikings, goes to the end zone, and West will bring it out to the 20-yard line. So Baker fooling us a little bit that time, not kicking it all the way through the upright.
And Lee Brown showing what a good athlete he is. He's their quarterback. He's back there on the kick return team. I'd be a little nervous about that, but I know Coach Green needs every player using every bit of their athletic ability. And let's say some good things about West High. They're down 21-0, and it's early in this game, but Coach Green has done a very, very nice job of getting this program back on a positive note, working hard on the mental aspects of the game of football. And it's not about wins and losses, it's about your mentality and how you view it and how hard you work and your effort level. And he's done a wonderful job getting this program started.
Brown throws it incomplete on the far side. Hurd with the coverage. Stan was very impressed with this team's performance last week after being down 24-0 and coming back within 5 points of Hanford. A very good club. He liked the character they showed. They have to show character again tonight.
When you're on the road at Hanford against a perennial power and you come back from 24-0 with a sophomore quarterback, I feel pretty good too. So I don't know if Stan's nervous tonight. Maybe he's feeling pretty good about it so far. Although it doesn't look too good right now, he might be feeling pretty good about it.
Well, they have to get some support from other players. Gabaldi and Rivera are both sitting down on the bench in front of us, two of their main players, and that definitely hurts, besides the score of 21-0.
Well, when you're rebuilding and you're getting your program started, you can't have your two guns not in the game. Not so much for production, but the emotional effects that it has on the team. When you've got a young quarterback, and like I said, they're trying to rebuild. But hey, 24-0 last week to Hanford, they came back.
Watch
so we got
out.
a lot of football left.
It'll be 2nd and 10 for West. Brown has started a couple of possessions throwing the ball. Seeing a running back, receivers to each side. Stan Green likes to spread it out here at West High. Rolling to his right, throws it quickly, batted down by the Foothill defense. As Brown was looking for David McCrary on the far side. He's looked right most of the time. A couple of situations he has rolled to his left.
And Anthony Juarez did a nice job that time. He got blocked, he didn't get penetration, but he saw Brown take that quick drop, got his hands up in the air, well coached defensive end on that play, knocked it down.
Reminds me of Jack Youngblood of the Rams many years ago when they were good. The Los Angeles Rams. Brown to throw it, double pump, misses a wide open receiver over the middle. He was looking right, unloaded it a little bit too early, intended for David McCrary, incomplete.
And
it is
McCrary,
time for West.
McCrary was wide open. I like Brown. I like Brown a lot. He's shown a lot of points as a sophomore. He missed that throw, but he looked good doing it. And I think now I know why Stan's so high on him, because he, even though they're down 21-0 and they haven't really done anything with their possessions yet, he shows confidence in the pocket. He doesn't look like he's rattled. He's looking for his receivers. And I think when he settles down, they make a couple of those kinds of plays. You never know. And obviously last week, that's what happened.
He unloaded that one a little sooner than he wanted to. He looked right. He had plenty of time, got rid of it a little too soon. And that's why the pass was not thrown properly to McCrary. He had plenty of time.
And actually the West High line has done a decent job of protecting him so far, other than the rollout situations where, of course, you're going to get penetration, but they've done a pretty decent job. You know, it's going to be difficult tonight if they don't establish something right away. They've got to establish either the short game, they've got to take advantage of something that Foothill's not doing in their secondary, and they've got to get the ball downfield just to get the ball out of their territory so Foothill doesn't get the ball back with such great field position.
Except for that pass in a time when Brown rolled to his left. Most of West High's passes have been to the side. The quarterback thrown the ball about 20 yards, but only maybe 7 or 8 upfield.
Well, let's give Foothill credit. They've done a nice job with...
They've taken away the middle. That's
yeah, they have, and they've done a nice job with that quick hitch pattern. They haven't allowed any big plays. As the West High crowd starts to get it going down here, we're having fun.
3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Foothill 21, West High nothing. West to punt again for the third time tonight. Hurd standing back deep in his own territory. Line drive comes to the left side, bounces at the 48 in West High territory, goes out of bounds, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Foothill, their own 44.
And it's that time again for our tremendous sponsors. I love
Yes,
this part of
sir.
the show. We want to thank AJ's Tuxedo Junction, Art Technology, Fast Trip. You know what that's all about. It's
Yes,
that
sir.
Sprite thing happening again. Total Body Chiropractic. Get on the Get bus. You ain't
Get
got a
on the
ride,
Get.
you ain't got a car, get on the Get,
Get
right?
on the Get.
And Precision Driving School. Those are our sponsors for tonight's game. I want to say thanks a lot. Great working with you.
Not a procedure penalty against West. Looks like they'll be punting again. Foothill would have started that drive their own 44-yard line. West bounces back even further than that. And so the Trojans are looking to have even better field position. Once again, Foothill cutting down the size of the field.
Yeah, only playing a half a field, and you practice those things when you're out there every day to get ready for a game. You know, you go in your goal line, you go into your situations. And, you know, so far Foothill's been excellent in their situations because they've scored 3 times.
You know, when I was talking to Coach Stan Green during this week, I said, I want to see a competitive game. He said, I want to see us win as the ball is hiked over the punter and a 2-point safety for Foothill. So things are not getting any better for West High as they lose 2 points and then they have the punter kick it off.
That's bad. That's bad. I mean, they're just kind of hurting them. I mean, they're really hurting themselves now. They're not even giving themselves an opportunity to make a play on the other end. They just got to regain their composure. They got to start making some plays on defense. I'll tell you one thing that would really get them going is to stop Foothill on one of their drives. Foothill's been successful every time they touch the ball. They need to stop defensively. Hey, man, it's like 5 feet over there.
Well, here's where character comes into play, Bobby. And they showed it last week and they have to show it again tonight.
Well, I know Coach Green is going to make those things happen at West High School. I mean, this is a program on the rebuilding process, and he's doing, so far we mentioned it earlier, he's really done a nice job, obviously, in their opener. Again, we spoke about Hanford, and anybody that's in the Valley knows how good Hanford has been over the years. And so this is a team that has already been on the road and had to come back, so hopefully tonight they can take some of those things they learned in that game and apply them right now to this game.
Well, the whole thing is that you have to get into your players' minds. It's a 4-quarter game. No matter what the score is, we play 4 quarters.
Well, one of the things Foothill did last year that wasn't very characteristic of a Ned Permenter coach team was they sometimes allowed teams back in by turning the ball over, maybe inside their 40, possessions like that, and allowed teams, they would give possessions away. And I know this year, this Foothill team doesn't look like they're going to do that very much, not the way they're playing tonight.
Those are mental mistakes and loss of concentration. Kind of a Duke kickoff by West High. Foothill retrieves it to West High territory at the 45-yard line. So once again, with a 23-0 lead, the Trojans have excellent field position in West High territory.
Now they're kicking the ball short because they don't want to kick the ball back to Hurd again because he's had 2 really good, he's actually had a good punt return
and good kickoff return.
And he's had a good kickoff return. So again, Foothill with not good field position, great field position.
I think you have to respect the talents of players on the other team, but I don't think you have to respect them so much that you look like you're fearful of them.
You got to go after people.
Right.
You got to go after people. That's how you play this game.
1st and 10 for the Trojans. Baker rolling to his left. His left-hander is pass complete. 25, 20-yard line to the tight end. Breaks a tackle, and he's to about the 5. 1st and goal for the Trojans. Whoa.
And Lopez just galloping down the field with his big body down the middle. Tremendous ball fake. That's where the run sets up the pass. And hey, folks, just because Foothill didn't have any yardage throwing the ball last week doesn't mean Mr. Baker can't throw the ball. Tremendous ball fake. Lopez wide open. Baker delivered the perfect spiral. 1st and goal.
1st and goal for the Trojans. 23-0 Foothill. 2:29 to play in the 1st quarter. I think we have an official's timeout. That was a beautifully executed play by Baker and the Foothill Trojans.
Yeah,
rolling
short,
to his left, nice, easy toss.
Little short roll, and Lopez was wide open.
1st and goal. Irvin's the ball carrier, nice hole. Dances his way into the end zone for a touchdown, but a flag is thrown. Something didn't look right on the offensive line for the Trojans.
Well, it looked awfully easy that time. Irvin's just kind of
looked like holding or illegal use of hands against Foothill.
It looked like Irvin just kind of piggybacked on that big
he
left
runs
side.
so easily.
He does. He really does.
The great players make it look so easy.
And he's only a junior. We said that earlier. Only a junior.
He's just learning. But you can make it look easy when you have a fine offensive line in front of you.
So
he's
far,
not getting hit in the backfield, and he has a chance to make some moves. And once he gets past the defensive line of West, he can make things happen.
So far, they've done a really nice job up front.
Irvin's coming the other way, slices his way inside the 10 to the 5, and he has a touchdown for Foothill.
Did he do a great job of making those 2 West defenders miss? Because actually the play was meant for him to cut it outside. He saw the West defender had the angle, kind of sidestep, did a little dance inside, Said, Coach, watch me. I'm listening to what you're telling me. I'll dance whistling in for the touchdown.
Beautiful piece of running by Urban. 3
Or
touchdowns
actually for the
tonight.
extra point.
Beautiful.
And he's looked awfully good.
And this Trojan team has looked awfully good tonight on the road. 29-0 lead for Foothill.
Well, you got Phillips on the left side, 79 at 282. And you've got Ratliff on the right side at 280. And they're running right off those big tackles, and they're opening up some huge holes.
And as you know, they don't have to open up big holes for Urban, just enough for him to slice and dice his way through that line.
Well, again,
it's a great combination between your offensive line and your running back.
Right, and I think, too, what I've seen that I didn't see from this Foothill team last year was running in between the tackles in the hole, taking care of the football, making sure that you don't make a mistake in the hole when you know you're going to have a big play. Get to the hole, make your read. If you don't have anything to the outside, put your head down and go. But what I see this team doing so far is being very, very consistent with their ball handling. Execution has been tremendous for Foothill so far.
Kind of reminds me of the Clovis West teams that we have seen in recent memory.
And Clovis West, I don't think, has ever had a running back with Mr. Urban's ability as far as that combination. They've had some tremendous backs, but I don't know if they've had anybody that athletic.
The focus of their offense primarily centers around their quarterbacks. The great ball taking. A lot of the quarterbacks are very big. They run the ball more than Baker does for Foothill.
Right.
Most of that offense centers right around the quarterback. He makes it happen for their offense, from what I've seen in the past. Line drive kick by Baker goes through the end zone once again. 30-0 in favor of Foothill.
The extra weapon, the special teams by Mr. Baker, doing it all for Foothill. Just booting the ball down there so there's no play at all. Now, West High, what have they got to do? It's 30-0. They have got to get something going. It's a tough situation for a sophomore kid to be in. But so far, I like what I see in this young man. He showed a lot of toughness. He hasn't been dancing around in that pocket. And let's see if they can get something going.
And you know the Trojan D will be flying at him. He's in a very precarious situation.
It's very difficult to be in this situation, but hey, you just got to play hard.
Somebody's got to be there. Rivera back into the game. Inside handoff to the 25 and 30-yard line.
That's McCrary coming inside.
Yes, coming back. A couple of Trojans make the stop. First and 10 for West High.
That's exactly what they needed right there. And again, their pass sets up their run. Just the opposite from Foothill. So if Foothill is going to pin their ears back and come, well, then they're going to be able to do a little bit of misdirection, maybe a counter. A great call by Coach Green. They get their, I think that's their first down.
Mike Glenn on the tackle for the Foothill Trojans. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's Foothill 30 and West High nothing. This is a non-league game. West from the Southwest Yosemite League, Foothill from the Southeast Yosemite League. Of course, they used to be in the same conference, the South Yosemite League.
Yeah, it's all confusing now. You got to show me a map on that stuff.
Well, I guess Bakersfield's too big for one league anymore.
Well, it's tremendous, isn't it? It's great to see the town growing with that much more opportunity for our kids to be involved in quality schools and great programs. It's just tremendous.
And this is close to home for me. I'm about 2 miles away. 1:56 remaining in the first quarter. Brown gives the ball up the middle for a gain of about 2 or 3 yards. Trojans hanging very tough defensively.
Not giving up much in there because, you know, we saw Bakersfield High last week and they were huge, flat out huge, just gigantic. Well, Foothill has a few big people of their own. We mentioned Ratliff earlier and Phillips, and they've got some big people inside on both sides of the ball. So Foothill can get after you up front, and they're not easy to move either.
Southpaw wide to the left for West High. Rivera in motion, 1:22 to play in the first quarter. Brown to throw, heavy rush. He is thrown down and sacked in the backfield. Whoa. Number 4, LaTroy Higgins.
And Higgins did a nice job.
He came out of nowhere. Nobody even blocked him, I don't think.
I think they had a blitz on that time. Looked like they might have read something up there, and he just came and
he hit him from behind.
He was untouched.
I know the UCLA Bruins are not playing tonight, but that's a theme song I am very familiar with.
Well, I hope they won tonight.
3rd and 10 for West High. Rivera in motion, inside handoff. Only a gain of about 1 yard. It'll be 4th and probably 9 for the Vikings. Higgins in on that tackle for Foothill. Trojans not being fooled by the misdirection, by the inside running plays of West High.
And that's a smart call in your own territory. You don't want to have an opportunity for another sack or an interception. Be safe, kick the ball out of there. Try to allow your defense to get something started.
West High has to be looking to create a turnover by the Trojans. Hurd standing back in his own 37-yard line. 11 seconds to play in the first quarter. 30-0 Foothill. Let's see if they get this punt off. At 4th and 9. Punt is away. Comes to Hurd at the 42. Gets away from one man to the 45. Nice tackle. Great hit by Nick Oninda.
Great play.
Of West High.
That's a positive way to end the first quarter for West High.
Good stick as the first quarter comes to a conclusion. It is Foothill 30, West High nothing. And you are watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable Channel 16.
Get on the get. Geo, go. Get ready, set. For a whole month of price that lasts, all you gotta do is get a flash pass.
The Get Bus is so easy to do.
I catch up on my reading too. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the
Get on the Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get Bus, get on.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. For something cold, any time of the day. Sounds real good, well, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast strip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast strip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
We begin the second quarter. Foothill with the ball. Inside handoff, and West is there to drop the ball carrier for about a 1 or 2 yard loss. Making the stick for West High, Casey Champlain. It'll be a loss of 1 yard for Foothill.
Champlin did a nice job that time, just shedding the blocker and getting into the backfield. And I mentioned earlier, that's what you got to do with this wing T. You've got to get into the backfield. I don't know if you got to shoot gaps, whatever you got to do. Maybe you gamble a little bit. You know, you're down. Defensively, you got to make something happen. But that time, they did a nice job of being a little bit more aggressive.
Bobby Marco Diaz in a quarterback for Foothill. As we begin the second quarter, subbing for Baker already. 30-0 Foothill. First slot left. Ball carries Irvin's in the backfield, gets away. And down, nice tackle, one-on-one tackle. And a loss of about 1 yard. Give credit that time to Lee Brown.
And Lee Brown
one-on-one tackle on Irvin.
Lee Brown's showing us some things. Only a sophomore. He's only going to get better and better. Yeah, and he's doing it from both sides of the ball. And he's showing us some things. And it's tough, you know. We're watching the same thing you're watching. It's difficult down 30-0. You're thinking, God, how can they get back into this thing? But hey, they were down 24-0 last week.
You just have to keep on playing hard. There's a lot of time left in this football game. 3rd and 11, Marco Diaz rolling to his right, heavy rush and pass, incomplete. Looking for Puente. Only had to throw it 12 yards, but a little bit extra adrenaline. Just kind of threw it over his head. A little excited there. 4th down for Foothill.
Yeah, and it looked like he tried to throw the ball while he was running instead of getting up, setting up, and then throwing the ball. And that's probably maybe the first time in their 4 or 5 possessions they did not execute a play that should have been executed.
Right. Well, that was only the 3rd play for Diaz in this ball game, so I'm sure he's a little bit excited. When the quarterback sees the receiver wide open, he gets excited.
But a big lift for this West High defense. That's their first stop, and if they get a good punt return, they're going to have decent field position.
Stephen Baker standing at his own 31 for Foothill on 4th and 12. 10:42 to play in the first half. Timeout Foothill as the Trojans lead at 30-0 over West. Wonder if West will try to block this punt or set up for a return.
Well, I'm sure they're going to try to be a little bit offensive-minded, I would think. They need some points. They need them in a hurry. If you would like to get or give us some feedback, give us a call. Time Warner Cable, we'd like to hear from you. Last week in our initial game, we mentioned and gave you some numbers to call. We want to hear from you. Get on our bandwagon. Join us. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast. This is a tremendous opportunity for the Bakersfield community. Time Warner's doing a great job of putting this on for you. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you think. If you're a sponsor out there and you'd like to be a part of sponsoring our broadcast, give us a call. Or if you'd like to get one of the tapes of the game tonight, you can call 322-1941, and it's $15.95 for a duplicate copy. Give us a call or call for a tape.
Baker back to punt for Foothill. High to a beautiful spiral. West calling a fair catch. Hits a Viking, recovered by the other West High player at about the 14-yard line.
And Baker again.
Beautiful.
Showing how much of a weapon his leg is. That ball must have had about a 3-second hang time up there. And Lee Brown tried to fair catch that, I thought.
And it hit his hand. He
right.
fumbled it, and it was recovered by Carlos Patino.
Yeah, fortunately for West.
Whoa. That would have been another major mistake for the Vikings. Start off at their own 14-yard line, 15-yard line, 10:32 to play in the first half. Down 30-0 as we're competing with disco and rock and roll and everything here tonight.
Sounds good. I love it.
But they're in motion for West High. Brown gives it up the middle. Flag is down. And usually where it's thrown, it's normally against the offense.
Yeah, when the hanky goes down in there, it's normally a holding call. And it is.
Hurd making a stop for Foothill.
And let's talk about that. Let's talk about that Foothill defense, those down linemen. We talked about Ratliff at 280. He's the senior, definitely one of the top down linemen in the area. Has really gotten after it in the weight room, improved himself athletically and strength-wise. And Coach Vermetter, Coach Ezell, really excited about his progress. Also, there's Daniel Ligoretta. He's 6'2", 250.
Whoa.
And he's a senior. And he's another one to watch inside. So they have some size in there. Those bookend tackles on defense and on offense with Phillips at 280. I mean, they've got size and they'll hit you. And they move well. They pursue laterally really well.
They have a senior quarterback, a senior fullback, and their three running backs are all around 190. They're big and they're strong. We talked about their weight work. With Irvin's benching about 360 and Puente and I think Hurd close to 300, so they not only have great speed, they have a lot of strength.
Yeah, and it's in this situation for West High, they're inside their 20-yard line, and it's tough. You don't want to open up too much because if the ball's intercepted, you make a mistake, then you're in real big trouble. I think Coach Green's just trying to get something established with his young quarterback, build confidence, not allow him to get too rattled. I mean, you're down 30-0. At this point, you just want to try to establish anything.
Two Hurds on the left side for Foothill, Bobby, on defense. Myron Hurd at defensive tackle, 6'3", 200. And the other Hurd is a DB, number 12. He's about 6'1", 186, of course, running back and punt returner. So both of them playing on the left side of the defense.
And that time Brown delivered a perfect pass. Had to be thrown right where he threw it. And he actually threw that off his back foot, backpedaling. I like him. He's got a strong arm. He shows some really good things. Only a sophomore.
West needs a first down here. 3rd and 5 with 9:14 to play in the second quarter. Lee Brown, sophomore quarterback. Also plays defense for West. Looking to throw. Straight drop back his pass. Incomplete, knocked up in the air. Almost picked off, but maybe a foul against Foothill,
and
possibly.
I think Hurd was in a little bit early on that play. And that definitely is going to help West High. They haven't gotten a call yet tonight, and I think they're going to get this one.
Nudged the wide receiver before the ball came to him, and it happened right in front of the referee. So
let's talk about our officials. You know, the officials in Kern County do a great job. They have a very difficult job, whether you're doing basketball, baseball, football. I think football might be the most difficult job because there's so many things happening. Yeah. I know basketball is a busy sport, but
11
football,
players on each side.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's so many things to watch, and they do such a tremendous job. And you know, it's exciting to see them be involved with high school football.
It's nice to see a basketball coach saying that. 9 minutes to play in the second quarter. Side handoff, run across the 42, about the 42.
That's
for West High. McCrary looking pretty good tonight. A lot of great quickness by him.
Yeah, definitely, and they've ran that counter with some success. And I think that's, at this point, they're starting to establish something here. They're moving the ball, and they haven't been inside Foothill's 50 yet, but they're getting close. And this is a good thing for them right now. They're developing a little bit more confidence.
You made that. It's a team that needs to develop some confidence. Now 30-0. Like to get on the scoreboard one way or the other. A 2nd and 6. Brown pitches the ball back to Rivera. Flag is down, and he is down across the 42. a gain of about 2 yards, but the flags came very early and possibly against the Vikings. A lot of motion in that backfield.
So when you have a young team, a lot of times you do one thing positive and then a mistake comes. And, you know, again, and that's what it is. So they hurt themselves. They make one really good play, then they hurt themselves.
Holding against West High. Last year, Foothill was only 5-5. 1-3 in the Southeast Assembly League. They were definitely looking to improve on that this season.
Well,
I think they have the makings of a better team.
That was a better Foothill team than their record indicated
Right.
last year. Like I mentioned, they had injuries. They had a few disciplinary problems that cost them some people.
Right.
And again, that hurt them. But they were in every game.
Yeah.
And Foothill will score points. Again, their defense is going to be the key to their season this year.
If you have an outstanding defense, you'll be in every game, like you mentioned. Out in that pattern, Brown to throw it. Long in front of it. It is caught. First down in Foothill territory. Beautiful.
And the sophomore showed his cool. Took that three-step drop, made the pump fake on the hitching there, delivered a beautiful ball.
That is a very tough throw. Graham Gare, the wide receiver for West High, making the reception. First down.
Had to be thrown right where it was thrown. Had to be caught. Perfect
Right on the
execution.
shoulder. Had to watch it all the way. The wide receiver. Great
Beautifully
play by Bo.
executed. Beautifully executed.
First and 10 for West High, the Foothill 37-yard line. Brown. Ball given straight up the middle. Across the 35 to the 34 to St. John's for West High.
Now, the one thing that you're looking at now is TOP. We mentioned that earlier, time of possession. Now, all of a sudden, West High's had the ball going on about 3 minutes now. Changes the whole momentum of the game. When Foothill only has to play defensively 3 and out, they can stay fresh, or 2 and out, or a turnover. But when they got to play possessions, they wear down. When you're bigger, it's tougher on you. Although it is something that is a strength for you, it can serve as a weakness if you're on the field a long time. And West High right now is doing some very good things. And again, their pass will set up their run.
West High's had their best drive of the night. They've had a couple of penalties against them, which has added to the clock at 7:25 to play in the first half, down 30-0. But they are in Foothill territory, 2nd and 8. Brown getting better protection. Looking to throw it deep. Has a man possibly interfered with. No flag. Looked like there was some bumping when the ball was up in the air.
And that time, that was just great coverage.
Yeah.
They ran the bump and run that time, but they tried to run it on the post, and just tremendous coverage. I think that was Hurd out there on the coverage. But just,
Gary, the intended receiver for West.
just tremendous coverage. Can you see Coach Green as he starts to kind of tutor this young quarterback, his young sophomore quarterback? You can see it already. I mean, this is only his 2nd game, and he's doing things I think that a lot of kids don't do possibly until their junior year.
That's true. One of the best sophomore quarterbacks I ever saw was a guy who played for Garson. Pass over the middle, complete. First down for West inside the 22, about the 18. Nice reception by David McCrary.
And Lee Brown says, hey folks, don't go home yet. We can play a little bit. Just give me some protection. I'll get the ball down the field. Deep drop. Foothill was in their zone. McCrary ran underneath, and that's a nice ball. That's a tight spiral throw right on the money.
Remember a guy by the name of Mike Lewis of Garces? Sophomore year, his team was 7 and 3, and he was awesome his junior and senior season.
UCLA Bruin.
Woo! First and 10 for West. Brown on the keeper, gets caught from behind by Hurd, I believe. The left defensive end. This is the older brother. Myron Hurd, about 6'3", 200, 205.
And again, Foothill did a nice job pursuing on the backside, not giving up on the play. And they were trying to run the option to the short side of the field. And, you know, in this situation, with him throwing the ball so well, put it up.
Put it up.
Keep throwing it.
2nd and 11 for West High. 5:50 to play in the first half. Rivera in motion. Wood to throw. Pass complete. Inside the 15. Maybe forward progress to the 14 in Foothill territory. The other Hurd with the catch.
You know, and Gayer,
yes.
Gayer and Rivera have showed that they can catch the football when it's delivered in traffic. That was good coverage by Hurd, but the ball was a quick pop. They ran a slot. He was inside on the slot. Took about 5 quick steps, turned, boom. Ball was delivered.
Excellent concentration by the receivers.
And again,
when you know you're going to get hit.
Brown showing the poise.
Sure. 3rd and 6 for West. Brown looking left. Fires it towards the end zone, a little bit overthrown. But the intended receiver Scott Parr. 5:04 to play, 30-0 in favor of Foothill.
Whether you need just 1 or 100, you'll always get a perfect copy at Time Warner Productions. Our video duplication department uses state-of-the-art equipment and provides pro-grade videotape at no extra charge. For $10.95, duplicate up to 1 hour from any of these consumer or professional formats: VHS, VHS-C, SVHS, Beta, 8mm video, Recorder, Recorder SP, Pro Beta SP, or Digital Betacam. For $15.95, duplicate up to 2 hours. From corporate video duplication to family videos, you'll always get the best copy at Time Warner Productions.
Foothill has it 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line. 4:58 to play in the first half. They lead it 30-0 over West.
But for the first time, the West defense operating in Foothill territory, not in their own territory. So let's see what they can do with a stop here.
Nice drive for West as far as keeping possession of the ball. Ended on a 4th and 6 play. Hurd, a ball player, across the 20 to about the 25, 24-yard line. Both Hurds playing defense, and this guy who plays wingback returns punts, returns kickoffs, an outstanding athlete for the Trojans. And they have a few of them out there.
That time they were running behind Phillips, 280, their big tackle on that right side. Anytime you've got your safeties making tackles, you're in trouble. Unless they're just so good that they're making tackles at the line of scrimmage, then you're okay.
Unless they're like Michael Stewart. One to the ball, they're running hard, across the 25, close to the 30-yard line. Michael Puente for Foothill.
And I think Foothill can play short yardage much like Bakersfield High School all night long because they're so big, they're so good. Their misdirection is very hard to handle, and they've got 3 different people that can hurt you running inside or outside, with the featured back being Urban. But tonight, in this first half, we've already seen that Puente can hold his own. He's a good inside runner, and Hurd can do the same. He can get inside or outside.
Baker back at quarterback for Foothill. Urban the ball carry, cuts inside, has a nice block. Opening 30, 35, 30, midfield 50, down the sideline. They finally drag him down in West High territory at the 42.
And again, that's just great blocking on that left side. You run to the right side, you come back, you run to the left side, you're on Ratliff's side. Now he does a great job of blowing that hole, and Urban just turns the corner. And again, you know, when you have a great possession offensively like West High defense, you can build on it defensively. Right now, this West High defense is kind of getting jacked up by that possession offensively. I know it's hard, but they've got to. They can't allow Foothill to come right back down the field.
Gare brings him down out of bounds. 1st and 10, 3:48 to play in the first half. And a flag is down. Possibly against Foothill. It's a legal procedure against the Trojans. The Trojans have basically moved on will tonight against West High. They haven't had a lot of trouble moving the football.
No, they haven't.
West have their only good possession the last time they had the ball. Ended up with an incomplete pass into the end zone.
Well, it's all happening up front. Foothill just doing a tremendous job of blocking, you know, getting off the ball and executing, staying with their blocks, and the Foothill backs just reading the hole and getting to where they want to go, which is the end zone.
And Foothill rushes up to the line of scrimmage. Puente, Urban's in the backfield. Behind Baker, 3:30 to play in the first half. Baker rolling to his right. Left-handed pass intercepted by West High. McCrary, David McCrary with the interception for West at 3:20 to play in the first half.
And that's another, that's what we just talked about with the West Side defense. Got to come up with a play, came up with a play.
Are you surprised that Foothill was throwing on that particular play?
I am somewhat, but I know when they, like we said, they want to run the football, and they're going to set that up with their running game to throw the ball. Not really. I mean, Foothill must throw the ball against the better teams. We're not saying the West Side is not one of the better teams, but they've got to have balance. And with a 30-0 lead, you would think you could work on some of those things.
Brown remains the quarterback for West. The inside handoff goes up to about the 43-yard line on the first down play. Second and 7.
This is that territory where if you're West High, you don't want to make a mistake. You got good field position. Be smart. Move the ball down the field. And even if you don't score, you'd like to score, of course. But even if you don't score, make Foothill play from inside their 20, their 30-yard line, back them down there so they don't have this great field position and score again before the first half is over.
Yard pick up 2nd and 8 for the Vikings. 2:45 to play in the first half. Brown on the mix-up. Brings it the other way. McCrary, great block to the other side, 40, 45, and out of bounds. Might have only picked up 2 yards. A lot of activity out there, and a Foothill Trojan is down on the far side.
Was that a tremendous athletic play by Brown? He had one guy holding his right side of his body, his left arm, so he switched hands and kind of pitched it just to make that play. He made that entire play. And hopefully we don't have a serious injury down there. We had a crackback, looked like one of the West High players was getting back the block to allow McCrary to turn the corner as we get funky down here on the West High sideline with the music and the cheerleaders having a good time. Had a great crowd down here, having a lot of fun. But again, Brown impressive. Regardless of the score, I'm impressed with this young man.
Good crowd on both sides for Foothill and West, with the Trojans leading 30-0, 2:35 to play in the first half. Domination by Foothill tonight. Defense has played splendidly. The offense has executed extremely well. Irvins, Puente, Baker, and Hurd, and their great offensive line has been opening up the holes for them. You don't have to give the runners that much. 3rd down and 7 for West High. Moving left to right. Brown, heavy rush, rolling to his right, under duress, throws it incomplete, just got rid of it.
Very smart play.
Higgins in hot pursuit for Foothill.
Very smart play by the sophomore. 3rd down, you don't want to make a turnover and make a mistake here. Even if you got to kick the ball away, keep Foothill down and deep in their territory, that's a smart play.
Jeremy New along with Higgins. Rushing Brown, it'll be 4th down for West at 2:28 to play in the first half. 4th and 7.
Foothill has been very, very aggressive in their pursuit. Not one guy, but 2 or 3 guys. Something that they didn't do last year. They're swarming to the ball this year.
Beautiful punt. Draws Hurd back at his 10-yard line. 15, nice move, 20. Breaks a couple of tackles, goes up to about the 30-yard line. Wow.
And Foothill, just like Bakersfield, is showing that they got some weapons too. Talked about last week with BHS and their weapons with Rodney Wright and the people that they have. Well, Foothill's showing tonight they got some weapons of their own, and they can put some numbers on the board.
And the Trojans will have it 1st and 10 with 2:19 to play in the first half. 30-0. Troy or the Vikings. Marco Diaz came in for 1 possession, 1 series for the Trojans. Baker back in there at QB. Hurd in motion. Setting up a screen right. And it is just about picked off by West High. Not executed well by Foothill.
And Chaplin did a great job that time because he smelled it. He was home the whole time. I actually thought that Hurd interfered with him on the play because I thought he had a chance to pick it off, but it's just a nice job defensively. Over the last 3 or 4 minutes of this game, moving into that 4-minute mark, 5-minute mark, West High has slowly kind of creeped back in here, got some respectability. Even though they're down 30-0, they are not being dominated by Foothill.
They took Baker out and they brought back in Marco Diaz at 2nd and 10. 2:10 to play in the first half. Inside handoff for the Trojans, I believe to Puente, across the 30 to about the 33, 34-yard line.
And if you're a Fuente, a la a Bennett at Bakersfield High School, although BHS does not run the wing tee, you're that type of a back, a Tobias, a Mohoffer, a Garces, those types of people. You've got to take advantage of what the defense gives you inside and run tough, but be smart. Take care of the ball, don't fumble it. And Fuentes is doing that tonight.
He always has 2 hands on the ball, looks like a good possession runner. Irvin's on the other side, breaks to the outside. Great move, 50, 40, down the sidelines, 30, will they catch him? 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what, he's putting on a show tonight. That was he was good for at least 45 to 50 yards on that run, and that was inside the tackle that time. I think he was running behind Phillips on that right side. It was either him or Radcliffe, and he ran inside, saw the outside, gone. You give him daylight, touchdown.
You know, it's amazing. You see so many West High defenders around him with a chance to catch him, and he just explodes the last 30 yards.
He's an interesting back because he will have minimal carries for a game. He'll have 9 or 10 carries for 190 yards. And that's why, because he's so explosive.
Right after tonight, bad snap. Diaz is going to have to eat it. So no PAT attempt by Baker that time.
And the thing that West High didn't want to have happen because they were playing so well up to that point. But again, the weapons, the big play. And it's difficult because Foothill has a lot of them, and this young West High team learning tonight that you have got to string that sweep out. You got to keep them inside the tackles, turn it back in. And something that West High's not doing defensively is Urban's getting outside those tackles, and when he does, he's scored 3 times.
Dynamite. Gerald Irvin had a big game last week and a monster game so far tonight. We're only in the first half. 1:25 left. 36-0 Foothill.
Saw him do it.
And he makes it look so easy.
Yes, he does. And I saw him do it many times last year. Many times last year.
Gets a slide opening, dips inside, likes to go outside. Looks like there's people around him.
Well, when they have the inside running game, when they're running so well inside as well, that misdirection, it's so difficult when you're keying on him. You don't know when he's going to have the ball. And it's difficult. It's a very difficult
offense.
He's
definitely very explosive because
no doubt about it.
There are players there, they just can't get to him.
And they're trying to arm tackle him, and you can forget that.
He's too strong. We talk about 5'8", 5'9", about 205, and his bench pressing ability. Too strong for most high school players to bring him down in the open field. Too fast and too strong. Baker to punt it for Foothill. Talk about a strong leg.
And when that ball left
the end zone again.
When that ball left his foot, Brown just dropped his head. He was back there waiting to return it. He was about the 5-yard line. He just dropped his head and started walking forward. He said, "I'm not returning that one."
No question about it. The Trojans have some very impressive athletes. Guys with definite D1 potential.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, obviously Urban is someone that I'm sure college scouts are very high on. And of course, they're big people. Foothill's big people. They have to have some people very interested because tonight they have shown that they're not only big, but they execute and they're very athletic inside.
Inside handoff for the Vikings, a fumble on the play. And they say it's down.
Let's hope West didn't hurt themselves again because they're inside their own 50-yard line again. And they hate to see them hurt themselves again. And it looks like they're going to keep the ball at about their own 21-yard line. You know, it's...
The carrier to ball carrier.
You're in these situations, Mark, with a minute left in the second quarter, and what do you say to your team at halftime? You go in at halftime and you talk about the positive things you did, and you challenge your team a little bit because of what you did last week. You challenge your team and you say, hey, we're a little bit better than this. We have to respect Foothill, but we can't fear them. We got to come out second half and make some things happen.
Another inside handoff for the Vikings on second down. 40 seconds to play in the first half. 36-0 Foothill. I watched portions of a game today between Ohio State and Pitt. It was 52-0 in the first half. Final score, Pitt 0, Ohio State 72. And the Buckeyes did not even throw a pass in the second half.
That's ugly. That's
real ugly.
Extremely ugly.
Oh.
There have been a few of those types. There are always those kind of games early in the season, though.
Seems like there's been quite a few blowouts in high school and in college ball this year.
Doesn't Nebraska normally beat people with an average of like 70-6 over their first 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, something like that. Almost a mix-up in West High backfield as the Trojans swarm over the running back as the first half comes to a conclusion. At the half, it is Foothill 36, West High 0 from West High School. You are watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at ARC Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special. The hot new 6-speed CD-ROM drive, just $98. Call ARC for low prices on all RAM upgrades, including laptops and notebooks. And ARC will upgrade all Packard Bells. Don't you buy a computer until you check with ARC Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. Or something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, well, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Get on the get. Geo go. Get ready set. For a whole month of price that lasts, all you gotta do is get a flash pass.
The Get Bus is so easy to do.
I catch up on my reading too.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
The score at halftime for the West High Stadium is Foothill 36 and West High nothing. Last week, Bobby, West High came back from a 24-0 deficit and only lost by 5 to Hanford. And Foothill won in a very close battle with North High, but tonight it's been a different story. Foothill has been in tune offensively and defensively, and West High has struggled.
No doubt about it, but when you look at what they did at Hanford, which is every bit as good as Foothill has been over the past 3 or 4 years, you say, okay, are they going to do it again? Foothill looks awfully good. They've played both sides of the ball very well, played very aggressively, but West High has shown with their young quarterback that they can move the ball. Late in the first half, they had some opportunities, got down inside the red zone, didn't score, but looked much better. They needed not to give up another big play right before the half with about 2 minutes left. Foothill didn't have good field position, but the West High defense a little tired from being on the field a little bit too long. Irvin runs 50 yards for a touchdown. That really, really broke their back.
1 of 4 by Irvin in the first half. And in fact, when West High had their greatest drive of the first half, it stalled in a 4th and 6 situation with an incomplete pass to the end zone. So when they had a chance to score one time, they didn't do it. Foothill comes back and scores again. So you might have had a 30-7 game. Now it's 36-0. What did Coach Stan Green tell his young Viking team at half?
Well, I think number one, we've got to defend some people. We've got to play better defensively. We can't continue to let them get off on us up front. Defensively, we have got to do a better job up front, and we have got to tackle better. We're getting beat off the ball. We're not doing a very good job of tackling, and we're giving up too many big plays. Offensively, hey, we started to do some things right in the first half, just didn't capitalize. But defensively, we have got to fly around. We got to cause some turnovers, and we just got to play harder.
As you mentioned in the first half, there's a difference between respecting the team and fearing them, as Baker booms another one through the end zone.
Not a problem. Just booming him. He's the weapon with the leg.
What, do they have a cannon there?
I don't know. It's amazing. It runs in the whole family. Younger brother Ryan is a sophomore on the varsity. He is also a kicker. It's amazing.
Didn't their dad teach them how to kick?
I don't know. He's my doctor. He does a lot of good things with medicine, but I don't know if he teaches them how to kick. They must have done something right, because I'll tell you what, they have a very athletic family. They also have a sister who went on scholarship, I believe, for volleyball. So this is just a great athletic family.
Wow. 1st and 10 for the Vikings as we begin the second half. Loop pass in front of us, just incomplete. And I guess they might call interference against Hurd from Foothill unless it's of the offensive variety.
I just thought that was great coverage by Hurd.
It looked like good coverage.
He knew what was coming on that. He wasn't fooled by the pump fake. He stayed right with him. I don't think that was a catchable ball, and they are going to call pass interference.
Gayer, the intended receiver for West, we saw a play in the first half. It looked like it was more of an interference situation than that, and they didn't call anything.
From our vantage point, maybe we didn't see the inside where the official was. He had the vantage point. Kind of looked like it was a good play and not a catchable ball.
He might have been riding him with the arm.
But the official knows better than we do. Yeah, that's possible.
The official was following the play. Any rate, it's 1st and 10 for West at their own 35. They will take it. That's a way to pick up some yardage, 15 yards. Brown straight up the middle, gain of about 3 or 4 yards. And for Foothill making the stop, Brandon Schenkel, among other Trojans.
Schenkel getting after it, anchoring down that line, and
You
they're
got it.
doing a great job of coming out and making a big hit. And Foothill defensively, one word, impressive.
Foothill's been very impressive tonight. I've been extremely impressed with them, both sides of the ball, their kicking game, their return team. Excellent effort by the Trojans, at least in the first half. Brown to throw it. Pass on the other side of his receiver. His receiver's looking inside. He threw it outside. Carr was the intended receiver.
And I think that was a mistake by the receiver. I think Carr maybe ran the wrong route because he was open to the inside. Looked like Brown made the right read to throw inside the corner. You know, it's interesting how teams kind of help you prepare for another team. As they announced the Dodgers scored, the Dodgers win. Yes, they did. This Foothill team played North High last week and beat them, but North High is throwing the ball a lot more. So they come into this game prepared for the pass, and I think that's really prepared them for this game.
A loop pass to this side, complete at the 30, out of bounds. Nice reception for the Vikings. Philip Thompson.
And what happened that time, I think Hurd was a little bit nervous, put his hands in his pockets and said, hey, I don't want to get a flag here. He had coverage. How many times do you see that post pattern, that up and out pattern where the ball's underthrown? The receiver comes back because the DB turns to look or doesn't turn to look, and normally the offensive receiver picks it up, and that's exactly what happened there.
Easier play for the receiver to come back for the ball than for the defender who's thrown to the
most
side.
Definitely.
especially if you're throwing to a Jerry Rice. But I'm going to wait to play in the third quarter. Brown with a straight handoff, runs to just a wall, a block of Trojans. We talked about
not going anywhere with Phillips there at 282.
Also Daniel Ligaretta, 6'2", 250. Give him some credit on the D-line.
Yeah, Ligaretta's looked real good tonight. He's doing some very good things up front.
I've also been impressed with that Leroy Higgins, who
yes.
I understand is a backup wingback, but he's been doing a job on defense and outside linebacker tonight, number 4.
Pursuing and getting after it, making plays.
Yeah, he's very quick. Moving on both sides.
Well, whatever Coach Green said to his team at halftime, they certainly have come out much more fired up and really have made some plays to start to get themselves back into this game.
How would you like to be Brown with Phillips running over you after the whistle? 6'3", 282. He just laid on top of him, man.
It's like any situation, you got to pay your dues to be one of the boys, right? So I don't think those seniors don't know that when they're dealing with those sophomores.
You know those defensive linemen, they want to get a shot on the quarterback, whether it's before the play or after the play.
That's exactly right.
10:33 to play in the third quarter. Westside trying to get on the board, down 36-0 to the Trojans of Foothill. Very impressive outing for Foothill.
Don't go away, though. This is that same West team that was down 24-0 last week.
That's right. They're in Foothill territory. Brown throws it complete inside 35-30. Nice gain to about the 22-yard line.
And that was that
Top
hitch.
par.
That's that hitch screen, but actually the slot man almost got hit in the back of the head because he didn't get out. That play they didn't really execute that play well, but Carr made a nice play on his own coming back to the ball to make the execution happen and did a nice job running with the ball afterwards.
3rd and 7 for West High, 9:48 to play in the third.
That was Parr that caught that pass.
Caught Parr.
Sorry, Mom.
Play action, pass over the middle, intercepted by Foothill. Ron Scott down the sideline, 30, 40, 50, one man to beat. He will be dragged down at the 22. Lee Brown making the tackle.
Showing some speed of his own. He got tremendous pressure, took a shot on that play, and that's a ball I think he'd want to have back. I think he would rather have taken the sack on that play. Trying to make too much happen, that's a young mistake.
And what a great return by Ron Scott of Foothill. Showing a lot of speed on that particular return, almost going all the way, dragged down by Brown.
Well, I'll tell you this, Foothill had three interceptions last week against North High School, and they are defending the pass as well as I've ever seen them defend the pass. They really do have some athletes back there who can cover.
North threw it 42 times last week, didn't complete too many of them though, probably about 14 or 42. Baker inside handoff, Gerald Irvins up the middle. He drags his way into the end zone for the touchdown. TD number 5 for him tonight.
And Mark, he just dragged, just out and out dragged. I believe that was McCrary might have been, if not maybe Thompson on the play, but right up the middle. And actually Thompson had the tackle. He just dragged him across the end zone, showing his strength as well as in a number of other runs tonight, his speed. That time he says, I'm just going to run right over you.
There's a play that didn't look like there was much there. Maybe 4 or 5 yard gain. And the guy hit him at about the 8 or 10 yard line. He saw the end zone like a great back. He smells the end zone and refuses to go down. As Baker once again blasted through the upright. Another power PAT.
I like the way you say that.
Oh, I mean,
you know when you see a lot of high school games, you see a lot of high school games where the kid, the ball barely gets there?
I know.
Not Baker. I mean, the guy that's the ball boy for Foothill is on the track. When he kicks the ball, it probably goes out of our camera picture. That's how strong of a leg he has.
Well, the track looks to be at least 25 yards.
Oh, it's probably more than that.
The goalposts are 30.
Yeah. Well, we've spoken about him all night long. And, you know, we talked about him last week in our game with Bakersfield and Garces. And, folks, you're seeing it tonight. That this kid can do many, many things. And like his brother who went to Arizona State, and hopefully most of us got to see him kick on Monday Night Football with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing him on college next year, hopefully, possibly in the Pac-10 maybe. We don't know, but we know he's definitely going to be recruited.
5 touchdowns for Irvin tonight. And like I said, like the excellent backs, whether in high school, college, or pro, when they get inside that 5 or inside the 10-yard line, they just smell the end zone. Whether it could be a running back or a wide receiver like Jerry Rice. Some guys just know how to get into the end zone. Nothing's going to stop them, especially not one defensive back or a linebacker.
Nope.
So Foothill leading 43-0. Baker's kick coming to Brown at about the 3, to the 5, looking for the wall, 10-yard line, cuts back, 15, caught from behind, down at about the 14-yard line. Nice tackle there by Hurd, the older Hurd for Foothill.
Better get Baker out of there. He's getting tired. He didn't kick that one out of the stadium. That only went down to the 2-yard line. This is a series for West High where, again, they just got to go out and start to execute. At this point, they know that it's going to be very difficult to come back. Not saying that they can't, but Foothill has basically said, listen, we're not going to let you back in this thing. We're going to continue to put pressure on you. We're not going to let up.
You know, a lot of people think that punters and kickers can only do one thing, but there are a lot of exceptions to the rule. Many times guys that just punt or kick the ball in college or high school are exceptional athletes. Some of them are pole vaulters or decathletes, and a guy like Baker plays quarterback and can do a lot of things on the football field.
Well, like his brother, they are track people. His brother being a tremendous triple jumper in college, as well as a great kicker for Arizona State. And you know, with Steven, he does the same thing. I believe Steven also does some track and field. So he mixes in that athleticism. That time on that last play, Brown showing his arm again and threw a nice tight spiral with a 2nd and short.
2nd down for the Vikings. Brown's throwing complete to this side, 8:33 to play in the 3rd quarter. Now we talk about Baker. He's playing DB for Foothill, so he doesn't leave the field too often.
No, he doesn't. And again, he's their leader. He's their quarterback. He's on the field constantly, and you've got to have a guy like that. If you're going to play quarterback on a football team, you've got to lead. If you play both ways, you've got to lead. So you've got to be out there. I think the great players play their best games when they're tired.
Free safety. Brown with the keeper, pitches the ball back. Foothill coming up. Gets a run to the outside about the 25, 27-yard line. Excellent pursuit by the Trojans, Ron Scott and company.
And we talked about when your safeties or your defensive backs are making tackles 5 yards into their backfield, that's not good. But when your safeties are coming up making plays 5 yards into the opposing team's backfield, that's good. We just got through talking about Baker, and he basically caused that play. Slowed it up, almost made the tackle, and his partners came and made the tackle.
It was a 1st down for West High. Rashberger also went on the tackle for Foothill. 1st and 10 for West. Brown to throw it left. Complete. Gain of about 7 yards for the Vikings. Scott Parr with another reception.
And Scott Parr showing that he's a very good possession receiver. Hasn't had the last couple of possessions a chance to run with that. But, you know, again, this is a good series for them. Settle down, throw your short stuff, maybe have a big play, get a little momentum going, just some consistency.
Camarillo in on the stop for the Foothill Trojans. 7:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. It is West High nothing, and Foothill 43 in this non-conference game on Time Warner Cable Channel 16.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
And Foothill has made a lot of improvements since their opening victory last week over North. Very sharp tonight, both sides of the ball. High pass incomplete. Nice hit by Pineda, who picked up a fumble returner for a touchdown early in the ball game for Foothill tonight.
Said hello to Thompson on that play.
You got to say hello once in a while.
Don't you hate when you get hung out like that? I know those wide receivers just can't stand
like
that. That time he was coming over the middle and Brown left him out there hanging, and he just said, I'll just take a little hit right here for you.
And of course, it's very easy to play aggressively on defense when you have a 43-0 lead. But the Trojans have played very aggressively all tonight. Pass on the far side complete. And driven out of bounds. The 42-yard line to Scott Parr, and it is another 1st down for the Vikings. So
and a nice throw.
Getting something going again.
Very nice throw, and again, showing how good of a possession receiver he is, knew where the stick was, simple two-step drop and threw the ball. It's going to be really fun to watch this young man develop. And with Stan Green coaching him, he's just going to get better and better and better.
Camarillo playing right corner for Foothill on the far side. Brown to throw it, three-step drop, complete in front of us. And a gain of about 5 yards to the 46-47 yard line.
And they're doing the West Coast thing. They're throwing the ball short, using it as a running play. Quick hitch, look inside. You know, one thing that Foothill's done well tonight is keep everybody in front of them. They haven't arm tackled anybody. They've been swarming. Everything that they've done defensively, they've kept inside, turning everything back inside for pursuit. So they've really done some things well, execution-wise, on the defensive end.
Pineda making an attack for Foothill. Up and go pattern, and it'll be incomplete on the far side. Coverage by Camarillo for Foothill.
Boy, Camarillo played that well.
And like you said, Bobby, the DBs for the Trojans have played extremely well tonight.
Yeah, and he wasn't fooled on that at all. He knew that was going to be a hitch and go from the very
he saw it.
Yeah, he knew it was
saw
coming.
the fake early.
And he just did a nice job of running right next to him, kept his hands in his pockets, so to speak, so he wouldn't get that hanky. And again, you know, we've talked about how well Foothill's played defensively, and yet they got 43 points on the board tonight. And you think, well, hey, it's got to be their offense. Well, not necessarily, because their defense is giving their offense great field position.
Yeah, they've held, like you said, set up field position. They tend to wear down the West High offense. Brown to throw once again from his 40. Pass knocked down. Excellent play by Ryan Maloch. He's 5'6", 150, a junior. Got his hand in there, knocked it away. Another good defensive play by Foothill.
Just staying home in his area and read the throw and did a nice job of stepping in front, knocking it down. You know, again, Foothill just executing defensively, playing very smart.
Very disciplined type of defensive effort.
Yes, they are. And I think we might have a flag on the play, Mark. Yes, we do.
Looks like we have a penalty against the Trojans.
And that's going to give West a first down.
With 6:44 to play in the third.
Definitely what they needed. Well, we got a personal foul. Yes, we do. So that's an automatic first down. So a break for West High. See if they can capitalize on it.
West High at the Foothill 39-yard line. First and 10 for the Vikings. Thompson to this side, covered by Pineda. Lee Brown barking signals for the Vikings. Two-step drop, pass over the middle, complete. First down for the Vikings. Inside the 30 to about the 28.
Kelvin DeBose seeing his first catch of the night.
He was pumped.
Looked very comfortable. Nice throw by Brown. That's a tough throw.
It is.
When you have the corner on the inside and the outside linebacker, you've got to throw that ball right in between them. And Brown did a nice job that time of throwing the ball right on the money. Nice throw.
Well, if he has time to throw, he can complete the passes. And you have to have that time between a quarterback and wide receivers. Everything has to be in sync.
When he's had time, he's looked good.
There's wide to each side. Ball on the left hash mark for West High. Brown looking to the right. Heavy pressure. Throws it into the end zone. Has a man out there. Tipped away by Baker at the last moment. Great athletic play.
That was a touchdown. That was a touchdown. At that time, Brown threw the ball off his back foot. What a great touch on the throw. Had a man out there, and Baker just made too good of a play. That's just too good of a play.
Nice play. Beautiful play.
That's too good.
We talked about his athletic ability. Not an easy pass to defend for a defensive back.
Sometimes when the offense makes a good play, and in order for you to negate that, you have to make an even better play. Baker just did that, and because he's an athlete, he can do that.
Quarterback, safety, place kicker, punter. Pass incomplete, and possibly a flag against Foothill.
And that definitely was pass interference. I think he got in a little bit too early.
Ron Scott.
Brown was looking for Thompson in the flat, and this has been an excellent possession for West High. Capitalizing on a few Foothill mistakes, which is something they didn't do in the first half. And while they're marking this off, if you'd like to get a tape of tonight's game, West High fans, and moms and dads, and Foothill moms and dads and grandpas out there, if you'd like to get a tape of tonight's game, you can call Time Warner Cable at 322-1941, and we want to hear from you. We need your support to continue to make this happen. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. You got some ideas? Hey, if you're a business owner out there and you want to be a part of what we're doing here, want to support this program, give us a call at 322-1941.
We're on the West High side here, 6:06 to play. Pump fake by Brown, passing to the end zone. Just incomplete. Coverage by Pineda of Foothill.
That ball's got to be caught. Thompson had the ball. Perfect throw by Brown. This kid has thrown some really good balls tonight. Coverage wasn't bad, but the ball was thrown perfectly.
Yeah,
Again, we
perfect pass.
talked about that before, just before Baker making a better play, right, than the offense. That time that ball should have been caught. That should have been a touchdown.
Has to have that concentration all the way on that particular pass attempt. 5:32 to play in the third. Brown will throw to the other side, pass behind his intended receiver, to Bose, I believe it is, as he was cutting to the inside. That's a timing pattern.
And good coverage again by Foothill. They just kind of smelled that play. They knew they were going to come back. That's a tough ball to throw.
Westside very rarely tonight has had a receiver wide open.
But you cannot have an opportunity like Thompson just had and not capitalize on it. And I know he would love to have that back, but you've got to capitalize on
Problem is you don't get him back.
Yeah, I know. It's tough.
No.
Not against the better teams, you don't.
3rd and 10 for West High. Brown will throw it again. Pretty good protection. His pass incomplete on the far side. A couple of Trojans hitting the intended receiver for West High. One of them, Ron Scott, Camarillo.
Looked like that time that somebody ran the wrong pattern.
Yeah.
Looked like the slot
We've
man
had a few plays like that tonight.
Didn't get out of
West
there.
High.
And I'll tell you, it takes time when you throw the football. It takes time. There are a lot. I know Coach Green is trying to do a lot of different things with his young quarterback and his receivers, and it takes time. This is only their second game.
Well, he's throwing a lot because they're down 43-0. You don't want to throw on every play in a ball game, but he's had to right here. Brown loops it to the far side, incomplete. Camarillo on the coverage for Foothill. Scott Parr, the intended receiver.
And it was a good throw. It was just better coverage. He had really no place to put that ball, and a good coverage again by
Well,
Foothill.
the Trojans have had a lot of chance to defend against the pass in their first 2 games this year, and their marks come out very high.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you've got North High and you've got West High, and I know West would like to have a little bit more balance, but basically you're going to see Brown throwing the ball. He's going to throw the ball. And but Foothill has done an outstanding job of covering the pass tonight, you know, with the exception of a couple of penalties, but not anything that is a lack of effort on their part or execution.
Well, when a team is going to throw the ball 30, 40 times, you're probably going to have some penalties. Inside handoff, and not much there for the Foothill Trojans. The Troy Higgins now playing wingback, the guy we've called his name quite a bit defensively for Foothill.
And I know they're high on him. They think he is a very good offensive player, but when you have the depth that they do on the offensive end, you can allow a guy just to play defense.
Well, they got a lot of talent.
Yes,
you know,
they do.
They have many players who can play both ways, and you play wherever the coaches can put you. You just say, I want to play.
And we want to keep bringing these great athletes to you, and we can't do that without our great sponsors. AJ Tuxedo Junction, ARC Technology, Fast Trip, Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus,
on the Get.
Total Body Chiropractic, and Precision Driving School.
Foothill Trojans with the ball here in the third quarter. Her, the ball carrier for Foothill.
Mark,
4:15 to play.
We brought this up earlier in the game. In order for a team to get back in a game when it's a little lopsided like this, you need the other team to make some mistakes, maybe turn the ball over. This is a Foothill team that's not doing that this year. This year, so far this year, they have not shown. I know they made a few mistakes against North High, but tonight they're not turning the ball over.
Hearn has the ball for the Trojans, has a first down, and the flag is down in a Foothill backfield.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at Arc Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special.
I'm Alex Rogers, owner of Arc Technology. Come and see for yourself why we have the warehouse stores beat, hands down, on price and service.
Don't you buy a computer until you check with Arc Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
3rd and 14 for Foothill, 3:40 to play in the third quarter. And the Trojans lead West High 43-0 at West High. Marco Diaz in a quarterback for Foothill. That was an inside handoff. A lot of players moving in and out for both teams, so We might see some confusion on the part of both offense and defense for the remainder of this game.
Well, on both sides of the ball, you got different things you're trying to accomplish. On West High, you definitely want to get as many reps, to get execution. Even though you're down, you still got to play the people that are going to be there for you night in and night out. On the Foothill side, you get a chance to look at a few more people tonight because you do have a big lead, but you don't want that to affect your execution.
Baker punting from his own end zone. Beautiful spiral punt. Coming to Dahl at his own 44. Looking for a block, looks right, now goes left, cuts back, and goes nowhere. The Trojans are there, as they have been all night.
They are playing well at every aspect of their game tonight, whatever it is, special teams, and I believe we've got a hold against the Vikings.
Personal foul against West.
Personal foul.
Maybe on the punter, I'm not sure.
But Baker booming a
Did you see that
45
punt?
to 50-yard
See that
kick.
beautiful punt by Baker? Spiral.
Now, we can't say enough about him tonight. He's been tremendous.
I'm just impressed with a guy that can do so many things well.
Well,
He stands out.
The thing with him, too, is that he has made himself better. We talked last week about guys, and we saw Hammond at quarterback for Bakersfield High School, and we saw Tobias and Lohoffer, and those guys at Garces, and how they got in the weight room, made themselves better. We talked about the quarterbacks in this area. And I mentioned last week, when we come to this game, you're going to see a very good athlete, Mr. Baker. He does a lot of things well. He leads his team. He might not have the strongest arm as a Dover or a Thresher or those other guys or a Carr and Stockdale, but this kid leads and he does a lot of things very well to make up maybe for not having the greatest arm, but he leads his team.
And as you mentioned, he comes from a good family, a family of winners. So he has that great type of background. 2:52 to play in the third quarter. It's been off Foothill tonight. Trojans 43, Vikings nothing. A very impressive performance by Foothill on all sides of the ball, whether you take offense, defense, special teams, you name it. They have stayed in their lanes defensively. They've blocked extremely well. Of course, we know about the talent of their running backs and the wide receivers. They passed the ball a little bit tonight, not much. Of course, they really haven't had to.
Didn't need to do that very much.
Ball's handed off on the far side, out of bounds to about the 31.
If you've got friends or family overseas, or you work or travel internationally, you know that videotapes from many other countries won't play in your home VCR. Time Warner Productions can help with state-of-the-art technology that can convert any foreign VHS tape into a tape that can play in your home. And as always, we provide pro-grade videotape at no extra charge. For $29.95, duplicate to or from any foreign format from any country in the world. From corporate video duplication to family videos, you'll always get the best copy at Time Warner Productions.
Talking about this West High team, you know, what do you take from this situation? You're down 43 to nothing with under 2 minutes into the third quarter. What do you do? What do you say? Well, you can say, well, we didn't take anything good from them. Well, I don't see that. I see this young team developing with a young quarterback each week getting better and better and better. But again, defensively is where they're going to have to improve. They've given up too many points in the first 2 games. That's an area of concern, and they spent too much time on the field tonight. And against this good Foothill team, you just can't do that.
Westside playing good defense on this last series by Foothill. It'll be 4th and 7 for the Trojans, 1:15 to play in the third quarter. And Baker will be back to punt for Foothill. Baker never goes completely out of the game. So he kicks it off, he punts, does PATs. Whether this Foothill team scores, they'll have plenty of points this year.
Well, take your hat off to the West Side defense. They didn't quit that time.
That's right.
That was a nice stop for them. See if they can do something offensively now.
High snap. High punt by Baker, not far. Caught the 27-yard line. And a tackle, I believe, by Puente. And late flag. Rivera returns the punt to about the 35-yard line, and a flag down by the referee in front of us.
And we've had a few more hankies going down on the grass a little bit here lately in the second half.
I wish I could get my grass in my house to grow like the grass here at West High.
Boy, isn't this a nice stadium? West High has really done a nice job.
It's a very nice stadium.
It's beautiful. We're up in the press box sitting on top. As you can tell, you can hear the West High cheerleaders down getting going. They haven't quit. We've got a great crowd out here on both sides. And really a beautiful stadium here at West High School. They've done a wonderful job getting this thing prepared. I remember when they were raising the money for the lights and they were all excited about getting it going. They've done a wonderful job with the stadium.
I know a few other high schools in Bakersfield are trying to raise money for lights. It costs a lot of money, and they've had a number of fundraisers, barbecues, golf tournaments, etc. Some other high schools would like to have lighted stadiums.
Well, take your hats off to the parents, because the parents are the backbone of these programs. They work in the barbecues, they work in the snack bar, they go out and sell the pizzas, they do whatever it takes to make this happen for their kids and for those kids who are coming to this school. So they want to continue the tradition, and this West High program is in the right hands. Stan Green is going to get this thing turned around. He will do it.
And I was at the West High pregame meal today talking with Stan Green, and we were just kind of rapping back and forth, and I said, I'd like to see a competitive game tonight, Coach, and he said, I want to see a win. He may not get a win, but his team is hanging in there. The pass is tipped and intercepted by Camarillo for Foothill at the 25, and he dances all the way into the end zone. Wow.
And that's unusual for West High in that sense, because all night long, possession-wise, they've done a nice job on that pass pattern. That's just like a concentration. And I think it's tough at this point. You know you're down. And, you know, again, we've said this, you can't give Foothill anything. And especially tonight, their defense has taken advantage of every opportunity. And I can't remember, probably the last time in 3 years that I've watched Foothill play, that their defense has been this opportunistic every time they've had the opportunity.
In the right place at the right time. That pass just went off the fingertips of Scott Farr. Camarillo playing behind him was right there. Tucked it in the air. Smooth sailing for the end zone. Baker destroys the football once again.
And I know Parr would like to have that one back. He's kicking himself because he's a good possession receiver, and he's made quite a few catches tonight. He's close to that double-digit receptions. I know he's close to probably 10 catches, and he's kicking himself a little bit. West High just has to stay focused. They can't look at the scoreboard. They got to go out and understand that there's going to be a next week. They're a young team. They've got to continue to get better, and they got to say, hey, we just got to go out and play and execute and listen to Coach. Stay positive.
G-E-D. The Get Bus is the ride for me.
From there to here and here to there.
G-E-T goes everywhere.
What can you do for cleaner air?
Ride to work with time to spare.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. For something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, well, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Gut check time for West High this week before they prepare for their next game. 8:48 to play, 50-0 Foothill. And the Trojans have the ball in West High territory. They're going to mark it at the 35-yard line. Check it, the 30-yard line, just outside the 30.
And again,
it's fourth down.
At this time, it's just eat the clock time. And of course, the clock is all Foothill, leading 50-0. Foothill getting a look at all their players, shuffling guys in and out, and allowing a lot of their first, second team guys to get a lot more rest. And of course, Mr. Urban's been sitting over there for a long time.
Diaz hands the ball off. Nice hit by West High. Give credit to that tackle to Bruce St. John. Stuck him straight up.
Yeah, St. John came flying in on that play. Really
the stocky guy.
Made a nice hit.
58.
You know, when you look out on the field, you see Coach Green. He hasn't quit coaching. He's still down there. He knows this is going to take time. He understands the circumstances coming near West High and where the program has been, the great tradition, and where they need to go, and he's going to build on that. And when we're watching him, he's still coaching. His coaches are into it. They're being positive, and that is definitely going to carry over with this West High team as this season continues.
Well, they didn't quit right there. Was fourth down for Foothill, and West made a good stick and got the ball on the change. 7:50 to play in the game. First and 10 for West, but I think we probably have a flag against the Vikings. Legal procedure, that'll cost them 5 yards.
I really do like this young West High team. I think with their young quarterback, they have a large opportunity for success over the next 7 weeks. And, you know, it's tough when you get beat this bad. It's difficult.
Yeah,
it's really tough. But you got to keep it in perspective.
Right.
And you have to go out each week, each day, and practice the next week and get ready for your next opponent.
It's just one game. You're going to be beat by a very good team playing on all cylinders. It's early in the season. It's not a league game. And like you said, you just have to work hard and develop week to week. And they will improve during the course of the year if they believe. They will improve.
Well, I know Stan Green, and I know his philosophy. And if you don't believe in the things you do every day, you can't be successful because you have to believe in it in order to execute it. And he will not allow his team to quit. And you're right. We said this last week, I'm going to say it again. It only matters what happens in conference and postseason.
Right. Of course, that's at the end of the year when they play the majority of their conference games. And they will get better. New quarterback in for West High. The pass is incomplete, dropped. Quarterback is Rusty Dahl. In fact, Rusty started their game last week, and he was replaced by Brown when West was behind 24-0. Rusty is a junior.
Rusty looked awfully good on that. Thompson just due to the course for this game tonight for West High. Lack of concentration and very difficult at this point to be out there, and he just dropped the football.
You know, when you're a player, every single play should be important to you as an individual, regardless of the score. Dahl throwing deep, just a little bit far. Scott defending on the play, and Foothill's done a great job defending the pass tonight. West has put the ball up in the air numerous times, and the coach has been up to the test.
I'd be throwing away from Scott if it was me. I don't know too many teams that are going to be throwing his way because he can cover you. He's got speed. He'll come up and hit you, put a hat on you. He's physical. Hey, he goes on the offensive end. He's got speed when he runs the ball.
You know, we talked about Foothill looking impressive as a team tonight. They're blessed with a bevy of outstanding individual athletes, which we've been mentioning off and on.
And you know, this is early in the season for them. So they're going to continue to get better. And I know Ned Permitter's teams, they're gearing up for conference and for postseason.
West will pick it up. Dahl punted to Foothill. It was fumbled. And the West High Vikings drop on it at the Foothill 33-yard line, so they have a big break.
And if you're Stan Green, you're saying it's about time. Maybe it's a little bit late, but it's about time we get a break. We have an opportunity to punch it in.
I didn't catch the number of the Foothill Trojan back there in the punt. He saw the ball coming his way, and he saw a couple of West High Vikings, and he kind of shied away from it at the last moment, and that's what caused him to fumble the ball.
And that's one of the few mistakes Foothill's made tonight.
Let's see if West can take advantage of it. Dahl, the backup quarterback, does the punting duties for West High and also plays some defense. His pass complete, I believe, to the far side to Thompson. Now they're calling it incomplete. Looked like that time he should have had it in his hands, but he fumbled it around. Philip Thompson. Roger Dahl, like I said, he's a junior. He started last week. He wants to make something happen because he wants some playing time. And you know how it is when you get into a game, you're trying to impress the coach, you sometimes try to do too much. He should have had 2 completions.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That wasn't a bad throw. Probably the ball was thrown where it should have been thrown, but that's got to be caught.
Second down. Looks at Thompson once again. Incomplete. Brown covering, or Scott covering for Foothill.
They need to throw away from him.
I keep on throwing to the same
Nothing's
guy.
happening on that side with Scott. He's just a heck of a cover man.
I would fake it to the right side, throw it back left, throwing the same pass.
Well, they have the open side of the field over there, and Thompson does run well. And they might just be hoping maybe for a bump or a foul, or, you know, a penalty over there.
Yeah, but they're throwing that same type of loop pass and trying to get the bump or the foul.
Well, it's been tough on West there. Ever since they had the injury earlier in the game, their running game really has been for naught. And so they've had to really throw the ball, although Brown has thrown the ball, I think, very well under the conditions, and Scott picks it off.
That pass is just overthrown, Bobby. Scott going to the races, 50, 40, cuts back, down to about the 33 in West High territory. The pass overthrown by quarterback Dahl, and Ron Scott in the right place at the right time.
We've been tooting his horn, and he says, hey, I'm going to do it again for you. He has looked very, very good at his left corner position.
I don't know. They threw to his man 4 or 5 times in a row. Don't ask me why.
Well, again, they're throwing to the open side.
They're trying to see how good he is.
Well, they're throwing to the open side of the field, hoping something can happen over there, and they go in there again and again, and Scott says, no, no, no. Stay away from me. I'm too dangerous. And back to Foothill, and that's not something that West High wants to see. Foothill with the ball in their hands again.
4:54 to play in a ball game. Foothill with a 1st and 10 inside West territory. And bringing in a lot of different players, the Trojans. The ball carrier that time, Jose Martinez. Champlin with the tackle. He's second and about 8.
And it's a great night. It's a great night to thank our sponsors. AJ Tuxedo Junction, Fast Strip.
How do you like my tuxedo?
Oh, I like it very much. Art Technology, Total Body Chiropractic. where they take care of the body.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And the Get Bus. Get on the Get.
Get on the
Definitely.
Get.
And Precision Driving School. Thanks to our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you.
I was checking out Brandon Schenkel for Foothill, blocking about 15 yards downfield. He hasn't quit. 50 to nothing. He wants to look good on films for the Foothill coaches.
Well, you know,
Continues to play hard.
When you go into films, there's two things that can happen. Either you're called out for a great play, or you're called out because you didn't do something, and you definitely wanted to be a great play. So you definitely don't want to be singled out in those films. It's happened to all of us over the course of our years.
And I watched him, number 44, lining up on left side, left in, and he was blocking 10, 15 yards downfield for the running back. And he hasn't quit with a big lead. Hurd, the ball carrier, powers his way inside the 10 to about the 5-yard line for Foothill. Now this is the other Hurd we're talking about, Myron Hurd, who plays left defensive end for Foothill, the backup running back.
Myron's showing that he can run between the tackles effectively too.
And his younger brother plays left corner and starting wingback for Foothill.
Folks, this is a deep Foothill team.
It's very deep.
This is a Foothill team that can shuffle in 5 or 6 backs, and of course they like their first 3, but they will play and run 5 people at you.
Inside handoff for the Trojans, and we have a touchdown. Another touchdown for Foothill. Ryan Malochi.
Malochi running the inside just as effectively as if he was on the first unit.
Why not?
I'll tell you what, that left side,
Bob, if you have a good offensive line, it's easy to run behind.
Well, and if you're West High, you've been out on that field a long time tonight defensively. It's been very difficult. And yeah, Foothill's had some quick hitters for big plays, but your defense has been out there a long time. You're awfully tired. And this is a big physical Foothill team, and their backs punish you just as their linemen do. So when they open the hole, the backs get after you, they put their head down, and it's been tough for West High tonight. It's been very, very tough.
Yeah, when you're playing defense in a game like this, it seems like an eternity. And of course, Foothill's loving it. Flags are down. And doing the kicking that time was Ryan Baker, and he's a left footer.
Just like his brothers, right?
Left footed, yes. Number 81.
Yep.
Line drive through the upright.
He looks like he's got the mini bionic leg. They're just developing him.
That was no fault of Ryan's. Some movement in the line, 3:13 to play in a ball game, 56-0 in favor of the Trojans. What a big victory for Foothill tonight. A tough loss for West, but it's early in the season. And the Vikings have a lot to learn about the makeup of their team. Came back last week after a 24-0 deficit. Came within 5 points of defeating Hanford. This week they were down early and could not come back against probably a much stronger Foothill team than what they faced last week. Foothill never quit.
Well, let's talk about this Foothill team from last year. That, like we mentioned earlier, a team that had some injuries early that hurt them, had a few situations that cost them some personnel. This is a team, I think, a lot like Bakersfield High School. They want to make a statement. Bakersfield High lost in the quarterfinals last year. They are hungry to show that, hey, we're going to get back to that Valley Championship game. We want to win it. And this Foothill team feels like that they are good enough to do the same thing. It's early. But at this point in the season, you're trying to make some statements about the things that you want to try to do and make a statement to the rest of the league saying, hey, we're going to do some things differently. We're going to improve our team. And Foothill has definitely done that tonight defensively. An area last year of weakness for their program, but it doesn't look like it's a weak area this year.
Well, of course, BHS has to be the favorite in the Southeast Assembly League, and Highland has some outstanding athletes, but Foothill is going to say, hey, we could play with them. And Arvin looks to be a pretty strong team. The kickoff underway, fumbled by West, almost recovered by Foothill, and everybody's on the ball. We don't know who's come up with it, with 2:58 to play in a ball game. 56-0 Trojans, and unfortunately for West High, Foothill has the ball.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
Clock running down, 18-17. And we have a big victory by the Foothill Trojans tonight over West High by the score of 56-0.
Just when you thought you saw it all. It's Friday Football Extra with me, Steve Talbot, and Tom Helmer. Join us every Friday during the Team 17 News at 11. We cover high school football like a rug. The hits, the Friday Football feature, and you'll see them the same night of the game on Friday Football Extra. Why wait till Sunday or Monday for the results you can get on Friday night? Friday Football Extra. Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Talbot. Along with Tom Helmer, we bring you the Friday Football Extra Show every Friday about 11:15, right after the newscast on Channel 17. Highlights and scores from all the games played that evening. Let's go back to South High School Saturday, a much-advertised battle of two explosive offenses, BHS and the Rebels. But it was the Driller defense that was big, shutting down South. And to add insult to injury, the ex-Rebel, Rodney Wright, burns his old mates with two long touchdown catches from Nate Lewis. Drillers in an impressive shutout, 40-0. Just as one-sided was the game at West High. The Vikings rebuilding, and they may have a ways to go. On Saturday night, they couldn't get a handle, a mitt, a glove, a finger on Foothill's Gerald Irvin, running out of the confusing Delaware wing T. 5 touchdowns, 234 yards on just 10 carries. Irvin and Foothill 56, West nothing. On Friday night, the most exciting game of the weekend at Centennial. Jared Clark seemed to have sewed up the game in the fourth quarter. It was 17-6 over Highland. Then Jeff Dover found Eugene Thomas loose over the middle, and all of a sudden it was a 17-12 game. The inevitable onside kick try came next. David Ubetta has it go right off his hands into those of Chris Branson, and Centennial wins 17-12. Stockdale, after upsetting the defending state champs from Atascadero, falls for the fake field goal against Golden West. Scott Caceres has Jason Starr in the sky. Golden West never returns to earth, beating Stockdale 32-8. East High got a measure of revenge after showing no offense against Centennial. Brian Robinson breaks loose for 2 long touchdowns, and the Blades break out of their lethargy to shut down Porterville 33-0. Garces, too, bounced back from a crushing defeat to BHS to pound out a 54-14 victory over Catholic school rival San Joaquin Memorial. Drew Johns throwing for 3 touchdowns, running for another. Wasco came close against the Valley champs from Corcoran, but it was too much Matt Paradis as the Panthers outclaw the Tigers of Wasco 20-13. McFarland is still having trouble getting its offense on track. Templeton's Josh Ulrich and Billy Aaron too tough to handle. Templeton wins this one 33-0 over McFarland. Well, Shafter couldn't lay a hand on Arvin's Ricky Garay on this 26-yarder. The Generals failed to command any offense, getting blanked by the Bears 23-0. Ridgeview didn't crack through the win column this week, but they did score. Steve Rivera finding Mike Davis. Not enough, though. Tulare 44, Ridgeview 14. And a seesaw battle at Delano between North and the Tigers. Matt Daniels picked up 31 hard-earned yards. Delano escaped with a hard-earned 14-13 win over North. And the team with only 15 players, Community Christian, was outmanned by Toby Foster and Boron on Friday night, dropping this one 53-0. And that's the highlight show for this Tuesday evening. Don't forget to join us next Tuesday right after the game of the week on Time Warner, and join Tom Helmer and myself, Steve Talbot, on the Friday Football Extra Show on Channel 17 about 11:15 this Friday night.